Party with Pete music while we get this going again.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, what's
Thank God
happening?
Pete knows how to have fun at the very least.
Oh, there we are. Can you guys hear me now? I think we are good to go. Welcome to Party with Pete. I am Pete Carney, and thanks for joining us today here on WDWNT. We are broadcasting live to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, Twitch, wherever you're watching. Thank you so much. But the chat we use for this show, if you want to interact with us, and today I would love to hear from you, is on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, go search WDWNT. You can find Party with Pete live right now, and we will chat today on the YouTube chat. A lot to discuss today. I was at Disney Springs yesterday for a nice chunk of time. We'll talk all about Disney Springs in the opening about that. We have an awesome panel today. We're going to be discussing live entertainment in the park. So if it involves a live performer, we will be discussing it and ranking it, finding out everyone's top three shows or entertainment they enjoy on property. And of course, as you saw in our promo, we have Scotty from Jelly Rolls, the longtime veteran. You know him, you love him. He will be joining the show for an hour today from 12:30 to 1:30. So you do not want to miss that. Super excited. He can play anything. We've had Piano Rob. We're just going to keep pulling people in from Jelly Rolls. As you guys know, I love that place. But joining me today, let's bring in everyone who's here so far. And people are going to be coming and going. This is a party. But starting the show with me, I believe we have Ashley is here.
Yep.
Hey, there she is. I think Spencer's out there somewhere.
Good morning.
Beautiful. There he is. And I'm pretty sure Ted was here too. Ted, you there?
Hey, what's going on, friends?
Good morning. Jason, can we throw everyone? And Shannon's here too. Awesome. Hi, Shannon. I can't see everyone, so I'm just seeing it as Jason brings you up on the screen. Can we throw everyone in like a gallery?
I on while the intro was playing. Got right in there.
Okay, cool.
Just, Shannon just randomly exists now.
Yeah.
Can I would like a Shannon over here, a Ted over here, and Ashley over here. We can put Spencer over there, or Ashley over here, or Shannon over there, or maybe Ted up here.
This is where we start playing the Brady Bunch theme song.
Yeah, I just like to see everyone's beautiful faces because no one wants to see this for 3 hours. We just see the views start dropping dramatically. While we're hopefully working, hey, Kevin's here too, our beautiful producer for the last, 8-9 weeks, how long we've been doing this. He's there in the chat. Hi, Kevin. And hello to everyone. Let me give some shout outs to the chat while we work on me possibly seeing everyone that's here. I appreciate everyone who shows up early, like DZ Studios, Penguin Project, Dancer for Life, Phenomenal Brandy, Amina, Alyssa, who else is here? Carl, David, Mike, I don't want to miss anybody here. But thanks guys for showing up, for getting in the chat. Of course, Courtney is here. What's up, Court? Joel, my man Joel, TJ Uber, Short Force, Steven. Oh, now we have music.
Music again.
There we go. This is beautiful. Hi, everybody. This is great. as you can tell, we're working through. Jason is actually doing a huge favor, and he's the voice in the sky this week. Kevin had to take care of some business, so thank you so much to Jason Diffendahl for helping me out and making all of this happen. But we're working through it together. We're having fun. We're keeping it light. All right, let's start with what everyone, I guess, was talking about yesterday. We talked about it a little bit on Park Center, but if you missed it, I'll recap it now. Disney Springs opened yesterday. I got there just before opening at just before 10 a.m., which I guess was late because there was a line of cars out the garage, out of the orange garage, of course, because that is the best garage. But the scanning and the temperature screenings were super quick, super fast. There was nobody in front of me in line. There was hand sanitizer everywhere, tons of signage. They scanned my head, in 2 seconds. It wasn't Disney cast members. It was actually people from Advent Health, our local hospital system here. So that was nice to see real medical professionals there scanning, making sure everybody was good to go. You walk down the escalator. I thought it was really cool. They had a bunch of cast members. I'm sure you saw Josh D'Amaro was there, but also other Disney, I'm sure higher ups, but also regular cast members. I gave everybody virtual high fives from 6 feet away. It was a great energy. Loved what they did. I was very proud of the Disney community. Everyone social distanced themselves very nicely. There were markings on the floor outside of every store that was open or restaurant. So if you were waiting to check in, you had to wait 6 feet behind the host stand and then 6 feet behind that. It went very smoothly. I said this for weeks, is that a lot of people were worried about it. Disney Springs is huge. And I don't think people realize how big that is. So even if you had a ton of people show up, which I think yesterday would be the busiest it's going to be. We had every vlogger, blogger, and local crazy person like myself there to go check it out. And it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that crowded. There's a ton of real estate. They opened up a good amount of restaurants and shops. So unlike Universal, if I was to compare the two, Universal only had their one merchandise store open, Bubba Gump, Margaritaville, and hair braiding and Voodoo Donut. So everyone who showed up, those were your only options. Lauren and I tried to get a drink. We had to wait 2.5 hours just for a beverage. We did not wait that long. They took our phone number and texted me while I was home back in my bed. Hey, your table's now ready. Great. But Disney took it the other way. There's plenty. There were some restaurants that had an hour wait, but there were some restaurants you could walk right in with no wait. Whether it was STK, Boathouse, Wolfgang Puck. They had one of the 2 Starbucks was open. It was a great phased reopening. I never saw crowds. I didn't have to wait for anything. People were respectful, as I said. I saw a ton of security. I saw a ton of custodial wiping things down over and over again. At one point, I sat in the same spot for about 40 minutes, just kind of people watching, taking photos, and I was also waiting. Of course, I was waiting for Tom. And I saw this one custodial guy literally do the one railing every 6 minutes, which I thought was incredible because I was just staring at this one railing. So to see that they keep going back over it and they're on top of it was very encouraging. The biggest thing is going to be the mask. We were talking about this before the show started, Ashley and I, but I'll have everyone weigh in here. Is how they're going to enforce the masks. To me, it's a little silly, and I'm not saying we shouldn't wear a mask, but it's just very ironic that when you're in a big open outdoor space like Disney Springs, where you're far away from people, you have to wear the mask. But when you go into the restaurants and you're sitting in a room with 40 other strangers and you take your mask off and you're eating, drinking, laughing, and talking, that is okay where there's no mask inside of an enclosed space. But no, when you're walking around Disney Springs and you're 14 feet away from other people, you need to have a mask on. It's a little funny to me. I get why we're doing it. But it's also going to be hard to enforce. I think a big thing that Disney did, which I'm happy they did as opposed to Universal, is they do have places where you can get drinks to go and walk around with a drink or a beverage. Or I got sorbet yesterday and walked around with that. You obviously cannot drink or eat with a mask on. So I had to go to a bench and at points to sit down, or we were in a store as my better half Lauren was shopping. I was having a beverage. So I had to take my mask off. And I did get some dirty looks. And I also didn't want to be that guy. I was almost felt bad eating and drinking without the mask on. So it's going to be interesting. And of course, I'm sure if you watched our walk around, Tom did a full walk around Disney Springs yesterday. You saw, I'm sure, people not wearing masks. I don't know how they're going to enforce this. Actually, you had some interesting things before the show started if you want to talk about it now.
Yeah, so I get it, and I get the argument, yeah, you're outside. But at the same token, to me, if you're going to set these expectations and tell people that masks are required, especially when we start talking about the parks reopening and people in queues and things like that, like they should be setting the expectation now that they're going to enforce these rules. Because again, it's their rule. Nobody's making you go to Disney Springs, but it's their rule that you have to wear the mask unless you're eating or drinking. So my thing is, if you're not going to enforce it now in Disney Springs and let the word get out that you're serious, it's going to be 10 times harder when you open the parks and try to enforce it in places like queues where you're not eating or drinking, but you are potentially going to have people trying to be 6 feet, even not social distancing on top of not wearing masks. And it's going to make a bigger headache for those cast members trying to enforce it because, well, they didn't make me do it at Disney Springs, even though they said they were required. Like, that's my concern. If you make the rule, you should enforce the rule. If they didn't think that it was necessary, then they shouldn't have made the rule. Make the rule that you only have to wear them walking around shops. But they said mask at all times. So that's what they should be enforcing. And the fact that they're not is frustrating to me.
It's a good point. You guys have thoughts on this?
I think it's just difficult to enforce it because it is like, people can wear the mask when they walk up and get checked and walk in, but then they can just take it off. They should have cast members who are around Disney Springs and like tell them, hey, put the mask back on. And people should also just leave their masks on. But I can see how it is kind of hard.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how it's hard, and granted, I was not there. Full caveat, I'm still in Georgia. But it seems to me, I saw a bunch on like Twitter and Facebook talking, and people were reporting, they saw cast members approach people and ask them to put the mask back on, and the people just walked away. Like at that point, you should be having security say, okay, no, seriously, either put it back on or we're going to have to ask you to leave. Because from what I understand, at least, and again, haven't personally been to either one, but from what I've been seeing and reading, that City Walk is actually being fairly serious about put your mask on or you get escorted out. And they're having security step in and be the ones to say it so that it's taken more seriously than just one of their cast members saying, no, really, and giving people the option to just walk away and ignore them. Like, I get it's going to be hard, but the fact that they're just like, meh, we're just, we're not even going to try is annoying to me.
I'm not going to pretend to even have an answer for it because it's just an impossible thing. I mean, we're all learning as we go, both Disney and our government and us as individuals, and customers and such. But, what it makes me worry about is, I live in Southwest Florida, and yesterday was a beautiful day with a nice, generous breeze. What happens when we're in the heat of August in Orlando? I mean, you think monitoring it now is going to be difficult. I worry about the monitoring it being difficult, and also, that it does make it a little difficult to breathe. And I could see a few folks probably passing out between that and the heat. Not saying that they should take away, wearing the mask. I'm just regulating it. I think is going to become a nightmare situation if this doesn't sort of cool off relatively soon.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. Yeah. I actually saw a cast member pass out from the heat yesterday.
Did you? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and again, and I wish I knew what was happening. I would have went and helped her. I actually thought she was just being playful because she was holding on to they set up just an umbrella for her to stand underneath. I guess she was just watching people come in, or maybe just watching to make sure people had masks. But she was kind of swinging around it, holding the main umbrella. It almost, and I called it like Mary Poppins-esque. It looked like she was doing like a dance number, and then she let go of it, and she kind of like staggered, but I thought she was like skipping because she was like going like kind of like this.
Like she was,
and I kept walking. I was going in the opposite direction, and I kind of looked back, and I just see her boom straight down to the ground. I went running over. Security was there. Yeah, and I think a few factors. One, it's probably one of the first times people have been outside of their house for more than maybe an hour or two, where you're standing out in the sun and walking around and exerting energy for an extended period of time. And like Ted said, the mask does compound that heat. Not only do you have 2 layers of cloth over your face, but you're breathing into that, and your hot breath is already making your face sweat on top of yesterday was 90 degrees, over 90 degrees. So it's super hot. You're outside, you're exerting energy. I think it's going to take a little getting used to for sure for people. It's going to be tough even as an adult, all I wanted to do was keep taking off my mask yesterday, and I would leave it on, but there was times I would take it off and kind of wipe my face just because it was getting so hot and sweaty. And if I, with self-control as an adult, am really tempted to do this every 5 minutes, what are children going to be doing after 3 seconds? And constantly, like, your parents are going to have to be like,
that's
constantly put that back on.
Yeah. I mean, it's a valid point, but to me, and this may sound a little callous, but I'm here in Georgia. Like, it's getting hot up here too. And I feel the pain. Like, I had to go out to the grocery store and it was annoying. It was hot. It was itchy. It was sweaty. But at the same token, those are the rules, and nobody's forcing me to go to the grocery store. I have other options. Nobody's forcing anybody to go to Disney. I do think in the place of cast members, they should start having the same rules that they have for, non-face characters, the ones that actually have to wear the full-on costumes, where it's like 15 minutes on and 30 minutes off to cool down, so that passing out doesn't happen, because that's not okay. And obviously, if you're standing out in the sun, not doing anything and just breathing, that could be a problem. But for actual guests, like, again, like, I may sound callous, but nobody's making you go. And if for whatever reason you either can't or don't want to follow those rules, you can go at a different time when it cools down, and you can.
It is a good point. Again, it's just, and you're right. Like, hey, these are the rules. If you can't deal with it, don't come. And that's, Disney did that. And this is the example I gave a few weeks ago, is when they said no more smoking in the parks at all. You have to smoke outside of the parks. They took away smoking sections. It upset a lot of people who go to the parks and smoke, or people who are planning a vacation. It's like, now I have to leave my family and walk from Fantasyland to the front of the park, or walk from Africa to the front of Animal Kingdom. Like, these are long stretches to walk just to go have a cigarette if you're a smoker. And it's very inconvenient. But hey, these are the rules. Disney made them. You have to follow them. And that's what happens. Granted, do you have the 5% of people who will break that rule? And do I see people trying to hide and have cigarettes in the park from time to time? Yes, and that's where you have to hope security kind of does their job and says, hey, you can't do that. I think this is going to be similar. Like, this is a rule. Disney made it. You have to follow it. And it's not only a Disney thing. It's kind of going around all over the country and the world. If you're not willing to wear a mask, then you're absolutely right. Don't come to the parks. Don't show up and with a and you're not going to have a doctor's note, because no doctor would be silly enough to say you don't have to wear a mask. But don't show up and already start complaining because you kind of know the rules in advance, Yeah. So to me, that's kind of going to be it too, and they're allowed to do that. This is a private park. They have a dress code. You can't show up wearing certain outfits into the parks either. So you're going to have to wear a mask. To me, it's just, and again, I don't think people have a problem wearing the mask in. It's going to be once they're in the park for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and keeping it on for the extended period of time, because it gets a lot easier, and you start figuring out these little hacks. Carrying a water bottle, can I always be pretending that, or here, if someone comes up to me and says, hey, you have to put that back on, you have a water bottle. So I think there's going to be people who push and try to game the system. I'm just interested. To be honest, as long as you're far away from me, I don't care. Like, if you don't have a mask on and you're sitting down on a bench and you're way over there, fine. But if we're in line for an attraction, or we're sitting near each other for a show and your mask is off, I'm gonna give you a dirty look. Like, hey, come on, let's do the right thing here. I don't know.
We've been having, so this ties back in, I swear, but we've been having like this weird weather patterns where it got like really hot and humid, like it was July. And now for the past 3 days, it feels like February again. I think our high today was like 55.
Here too.
I don't know what's going on with the world. I don't know what's going on with the world.
It's Memorial Day weekend, pretty much, and I'm in a sweater in Georgia. It's weird.
Jeez. Anyway, so last week I was looking at this apartment and I was wearing a mask because I was meeting my realtor. And I was walking to this apartment. It was like a 15-minute walk. And it was the hot and humid day. And I felt like I was dying. And it was like the very next day, there was a thing in the news here where it was like, oh yeah, there's going to be more people having heat strokes and getting dehydrated over the summer, because in Japan, mask wearing is common, but it's more common in the winter and the spring when people are getting sick or they're getting hay fever. So like in the summer, you don't really see a lot of people wearing masks. So
what years?
People are like,
is there a time machine I don't know about?
Isn't hay fever just like fancy allergies?
It's fancy fever?
It's basically seasonal allergies. Yeah, that's what it is.
All right. I wasn't sure. Like hay fever to me sounds
hay fever is
like the Oregon Trail. Like we lost sister to dysentery. Great. Sorry.
No, hay fever is just
seasonal
allergy.
Oh my god.
Right. This can be solved with this hand tech or something like that. Okay, fair enough.
But it just there was a thing in the news that they're like, oh yeah, you know, people don't usually wear masks in the summer, so you got to be more careful about dehydration and heat stroke. And I'd been walking for 15 minutes in this mask, and I felt like I was dying. And when I got to the apartment, I told my realtor, I said, give me like 5 minutes. And I like stood about 6 feet away, and I just took off the mask in the shade and just breathed and drank some water. Like I needed the break. And I think that's the important thing. Is what you got to do though, is you got to find like the ability to, you know, kind of distance yourself for a minute, maybe take a drink of water, stand under some shade where you can take off the mask safely. It's going to become like this little bit of a dance, really, to try and balance it out as we go through the summer, I think.
Yeah, I mean, people, besides that, you're going to have to know your limits.
Yeah, and I've seen some groups already bringing up great points, like, what if my child, or what, even as an adult, like I have asthma, I have trouble breathing already, and it's, again, you are making a conscious decision to go to the parks, but I don't think it's fair to say, and oh my God, God bless anyone who has an autistic family member, or if you're planning on taking an autistic child to the parks or making them wear a mask anywhere in public, because that's got to be a nightmare. And my heart like just melts and you know, cries for them. But like, again, like even kids with asthma or adults, it's hard to breathe and walk and be in the 100-degree heat in Florida as it is. And then you cover up your nose and mouth with something and you're sucking that in. It's not fun. It's the world we live in, though. I mean, people are gonna have to build in breaks. People have to hydrate better, but it's gonna be interesting. I think, again, like even people with the best intentions, you will see after an hour of walking around the parks with a mask on, you're gonna start getting that itch to take that thing off.
No, yeah, I mean, even today it was like 55 degrees. I had to go out. I had to go and buy some new clothes because my current spring/summer clothes are getting holes in them, so I had to go buy new ones. And like it was the first time I'd really gotten a temperature check because most places haven't been doing that yet. So I go to this clothing store, they do the temperature check, and they will not let you pass unless you sanitize your hands and they make sure you're wearing the mask. That's how I felt. And even like an hour later, I'd come out of the store and I'd just been walking around to try and get some exercise in a little bit. And I was like, oh my God, I want to take this off so bad. It was the worst. And it wasn't even hot today. It was like 55 degrees. So it was cold. And I was still feeling like, oh, get this off my face. I really think that it's going to be difficult for a lot of people to keep it on, you know, whether they have a breathing problem or they have a disability or etc. There's going to be trouble with this, and you know it's temporary. We know that it's only going to be this year and next year or whatever. But it's the reality that we live in right now, and I think a lot of people are going to just try and fight that tooth and nail as much as they can.
Now, yeah, Pete, you said that you went. Oh, go ahead, Pete. I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, I was just going to say that you know, now granted you wore the mask and it was, you know, a little difficult, and of course, you know, nobody's, you know, putting a metaphorical gun to our head and saying we have to go to Disney Springs. That being said, did you feel as though it kind of gave you a shot of that Disney adrenaline that we've all been missing for a couple months now? Did it give that like the parks would, or how you know, did it revive you a little bit, I guess?
And I should put some happy notes on this. Yesterday was probably one of the best days I've had in 2 months, at least 2 months. And it's kind of been a perfect storm this week. We have been dying to use the pool in our development here, and they just reopened it on Monday, but it was kind of rainy. So Tuesday, really. So yesterday, like, it was beautiful weather. The pool felt normal. We got to go down to the pool area and like grill, because also our grills are locked inside. Like we have these big, beautiful grills, but they're locked in the pool area. So we couldn't use those for the last 2 months either. and we can't have grills on our balconies. So it was, and I love to grill. So I got to grill, I got to go in the pool, and I got to go to Disney Springs, which is, it's, and again, even though it's not a park, you're totally right. You hit the nail on the head. I just felt good again. And I like talking about it on a Parks last night, I was like getting teary-eyed because there's a certain energy. I mean, there's the kindness and the smiles on the cast members. And granted, you can't see them anymore because there's face masks. But you know how you can tell, and it's funny because we took pictures yesterday and everyone's like, I'm smiling, I promise. But you see their eyes are lighting up, my eyes are lighting up. Right. You know, you have, they had the Disney background music playing, which is a big deal for me too, even though I've been listening to it on my computer. Like, just to walk around, see people, be in that happy environment, and get, like, you know, I call it my Springs back. When we moved down here, we didn't even realize when we moved into this place, the closest restaurant to us is Disney Springs. Like, the closest restaurants is Disney Springs. So when that closed, like, that's our go-to for food a lot of the time. We'll just go to Springs, walk around, and like grab a slice or grab something quick, or maybe, you know, once or twice a week, sit down somewhere. But that was our spot. So now that that's gone, like, we kind of had to go find other restaurants or see what's open and whatnot. It was really nice to get it back. Like I said, just the energy. And again, you can't see the smiles, but you know the cast members are happy. The cast members in the restaurants where we did eat. Yesterday we ate at Boathouse. Our server was great. The managers were awesome. The general manager I chatted with, and we were joking about his music playlist. Boathouse music playlist. I think the GM is Tony Rice. Shout out to Tony Rice at the Boathouse. His taste in music is impeccable. It was the best music, but again, like, just to talk to him yesterday and talk to our server, it was so much fun. I had a great day. And like I said, I put on Facebook, I said, it's not a lot of stuff happening. There's a few restaurants and a few shops, but it really was a big deal for me. It was a step in the right direction. It gave me that glimmer of hope that we're going to get back to normal. This isn't forever. So yeah, to answer your question, I was a very happy young man yesterday. And then, great. So just to kind of extend the story too, this week has really been like, thank God, because I was slowly going down this descent into miserable for a few weeks. But again, with the pool area opening up, Disney Springs, and also I made new friends in my development. I DJ'd for my entire development. They actually asked me to come out and DJ. But through that, I met a bunch of other people that live here, and I found out like a ton of cast members lived here, which I didn't. I mean, I kind of knew, but it was way more than I thought. So now we're all friends. So like, even like last night and the night before, I was hanging out with a guy that's friends with Tigger and Baymax and Toy Soldiers in the Parade. Like, and you know, I was hanging out with a young lady that is friends with Chip and Dale and Mickey and Minnie, and we're all just hanging out, chatting. Like, it's super fun, like, just nice talking with people, talking Disney with people. And then with Springs opening, man, what a perfect storm this week has been, in a good way for me, because man, it has been rough. I'm sure it's been rough for all of you guys too. And if you aren't able to come down, I feel really bad. Hopefully these live shows we've been doing can bring you a little bit of Disney as well. Sorry, what else were you saying? I'm just going to say I'm very upset with the Florida people, because you closed after us and now you're starting to open before us again. We're still closed. Nothing is open except the monorail. So I'm frustrated with this a little bit. But we learn from our mistakes too. Like, you have to see the headline. Like, I'm sure you've seen around the country, like Florida man ... Florida woman ...
That's what it's always like. There's always a Florida man story. That's normal.
Like I said, I mean, these cast member friends, we went out to a bar last night. I won't say where, because I actually really like this place, but Florida, like, they make their own rules down here. Literally, there was not a single person that worked for the restaurant or that was there in attendance that had a mask on in this establishment. I chose to sit outside in a corner kind of away from people. But people were playing cornhole, they were playing pool, they were playing Golden Tee, they were ordering drinks, standing at the bar. Not a mask in sight. So, I don't know.
But if they didn't have the rule, then it's not, they didn't break any rules.
That's still horrifying a little bit, though.
It's just like, that's Florida, man. Like, it's crazy down here. But again, I'd much rather be here than right now than I just moved down here from New York. And New York, what's going on up there with my family and friends is out of control. So I don't know. Let's just hope it keeps getting better. That's where we're going from there. We just had a whole half-an-hour conversation about masks and Disney Springs. But we have a lot to talk about today. But does anyone else have any other thoughts or questions or anything about Disney Springs or reopening stuff? Because I'd like to get into our discussion, but I still have more time. It's a party, baby. We can talk about anything.
I do have one question about Disney Springs, actually, because I don't know how things really work there. Why do people make such a big deal about... Why do people make such a big deal about parking garages? What is the difference? They are parking garages.
Okay, let me break down this parking garage thing. We talked about this on Park Center briefly last night.
It's because the parking garages are bad. It's not because they are parking garages.
It's choosing the lesser of two evils, for sure. Well, now three, because you have grapefruit, you have lime, and you have orange. And then there's the surface parking, which we'll leave for another discussion another day. But it's like strawberry and a bunch of other fruits that don't matter. Which, by the way, some of these, if you look into the names of these parking lots, I didn't even realize we had like a mango parking. Like, we have so many ridiculous. Yeah. I would have been surprised if there was like a papaya parking lot I didn't know about somewhere. But anyway. So the big debate a lot of people here in Florida have is lime or orange. Grapefruit Garage is like 2 miles away, so it's not even in the debate. Like, by the time you get to Disney Springs, if you park at 10 a.m., it'll be midnight from that walk. It's so long. Lime and orange. So there's the two main garages. Lime, if you're curious, is the garage that lets out kind of near the Polite Pig in the middle of what they call, I think, the marketplace area, I believe. So. Orange is a very big garage, so it lets you in two places. On the very far end of the West End, kind of like Cirque du Soleil, CityWorks, the AMC, Splitsville. And then on the other side, if you park on the opposite side of the orange garage, you can come in by the Coca-Cola store and Planet Hollywood. The big debate is people say that lime is convenient because it puts you right in the middle of Disney Springs. But when you drive into it and out of it, it is the biggest pain in the neck. It is a maze. You have to make 45 left turns, a right turn. You're on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride trying to get out of this garage. Orange garage.
I've never had a problem getting out of that garage. Maybe I'm just lucky. I am a lime person.
It also depends
and I never had a problem getting out.
One way on that Vista Drive, you got to make 19 U-turns. Disney's come up with this asinine traffic system where you have to, like, literally, if you haven't graduated high school and you want to get your GED, just try to escape the Lime Garage and get to Epcot. And if you can do it in 4 minutes.
Never had a problem.
You're smarter than the rest of us. I don't know what to tell you. Or you just plow through code.
Pete, you're coming from New York.
Robbie.
I can't believe you have an issue with this.
It's not an issue. It's just that the Orange Garage is so much easier. You can get in and out in a moment's time.
It's far from.
What have I done? Why did I do this?
You can get some exercise if you really want to walk to the other side from Orange.
If you go in that way, you can still do stuff. Like, unless you're trying to get to the void on the opposite side of Disney Springs. Yeah, you got to take a 10-minute walk. But everything else is pretty much right there. It's not that inconvenient. It's only about a 4-minute difference from the Lime Garage.
When I'm going to Disney Springs, I'm going to see a movie, among other things. So I'd go to Orange Garage, and exit from Orange Garage. I'm next to the AMC.
Let me put it this way, right? The walk from Orange Garage on the Coca-Cola side and the Lime Garage main entrance, like where you come in, is only about a 3-minute walk apart.
Yeah.
The time to get in and out of the Lime Garage compared to the time to get in and out of the Orange Garage is about a 10-minute difference. You save so much more time. Orange is just convenient to get in and out of very quickly. I can handle the Lime Garage. I have no problem with it. I parked there in the past. I'm just saying Orange is convenient, and I'm all about convenience.
I want to shirt that says I can handle the Lime Garage. I think that's like the best quote to come out. I can handle the Lime Garage. We're talking about a world where we've literally waited 3 hours to get on Avatar, right? Like, let perspective, I guess.
But a garage is too much.
Robbie in the chat gave us $5. Thank you, Robbie. And did say Lime is far superior.
Robbie Elliott, the Lime is far superior. Fine. I mean, if you're going to give a $5 super chat, I'll let you have your 5 minutes of Lime Garage. You know what? No one's perfect, and Robbie seems like a very nice, generous dude. So, yeah, Lime might be, you know what? Everyone to each his own. Some people like limes. Some people like oranges. Some people are...
Short Horse said Lime Garage is not an attraction poster.
That's awesome. Fantastic.
What have I done? Like this is what did I do? Why did I do this?
Listen, it's also, I feel like maybe this is where people come from is like, I don't know, if you live here, it really depends on what direction you want to head when you're leaving Disney Springs as well.
Yeah.
Like for me, I want to head towards the park, and that's also the pick up the road there is how I get home. But it's also like towards the park. So when you leave Orange Garage, that garage exits in the direction of Epcot and Magic Kingdom and all the other parks. Lime, if you're heading away from the parks, is if like you just went there and you're going back to your home either north of Disney Springs or to the west, maybe Lime is better. I don't know. I don't live there, and that's not the direction I normally head. I'm either going back home or I'm going to the parks. And Orange just exits beautifully onto the road, and away I go. So who knows? This is a fun debate because this is completely opinion-based, and there's no facts in it at all.
It's just like I see all this stuff happening all the time where people are arguing about the parking garages, and it seems like the dumbest and most trivial thing to argue about.
Got nothing else to argue about right now, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, this is I'll argue garages all day. It's fun. Yes.
Has anybody heard? So I heard World of Disney is reopening. Is it this weekend? Correct? The Disney store and all. Is it Wednesday? Okay. Couldn't remember. But does anybody know if they're going to have the mini main attraction stuff next month at the Disney store? Has anybody heard that? Or is it still going to be all online?
I have not heard.
I don't think there's any
guarantee you
confirmation
that
either way.
one of us, either me or Tom or whoever's there, one of the reporters, will definitely ask when they open because we're all curious about it too. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Right. But if they do, like I'm driving from Atlanta. I don't care. I'm not doing the website again. Never again.
I'll help you out.
You know,
I'll grab what you need.
so
level
glad.
of stress that I don't need in my life.
I'm so glad
right now.
that I don't have the compulsion to buy most of the stuff that comes out on Shop Disney. The only thing I've bought from all of this madness has been the Country Bear Wishables. Like everything else, I don't need.
In like 2 months. I was like, okay, I probably want stuff, but it's not worth it. I'm gonna be one less person on this website so everyone else can get their stuff.
Yeah. See, like I typically don't.
I just saw on Twitter the other day.
It was so cute.
Yeah.
And so now I'm stuck. So I don't know.
So anyway, I don't know anything about Wishables, so you guys can take this away. I'll just catch up with the chat. Courtney makes a good point. I'm like, hey, let's interact with the chat, and then I just went on a rant about garages for I don't know how long that was.
That was my fault. Sorry.
So yeah, let's catch up with the chat. Is Grapefruit for employees? I'm pretty sure other people can park there too, but I think they make the employees park there because it's so far away.
I think so. Well, and because it's bigger too.
Yeah, it's a giant garage. You got to go. For anyone who doesn't know, it's on the other side of, I think it's Buena Vista Drive. So that's where you see that bridge, which goes over the top, kind of where the bus loop is over there. Or it's the one where you have to go across two, or is that down by the end? I don't know. I confuse it. I've never parked at Grapefruit because I don't have that kind of leg strength.
Also,
I
if
just
you
like
ever walk on
walk
one of
off
those bridges while it's windy, if you walk on one of those bridges while it's windy, you can feel it move.
That's a little.
like
You know, Pete, you should consider parking at Grapefruit because you can walk off all that White Claw weight.
Dude, the only reason I drink White Claw is to not put on weight. Otherwise, I'd be drinking craft beer. That's what only drinking. It's not like I love White Claw so much.
No,
it's
Pete. I'm just messing with you. I'm sorry.
No, this is a good point. I'm glad we were talking about all these things today. Let's clear the board of anything you have to talk about. White Claw.
I was just trying to make a joke with you. Now I feel bad.
I have a bunch of them. But I miss craft beer. If we're going to talk about things we missed during this quarantine, I miss craft beer a little bit. So that's why I drink White Claws. All right, I'm just kidding. But I do need to walk up this weight. I have no joke. This is a true fact. I put on a true, as of this morning, COVID 19 pounds in the last 8 or 9 weeks. So Papa's going to start running again. You're right. I probably should just not even drive to Disney Springs. I should run there from my house. Maybe I'd be in better shape.
Oh, we lost.
I like it. Jerry Skids in the
Ashley.
comments goes, when we were talking about the garages, he goes, I guess I'll just take the bus. It's a good idea. The bus is far superior to anything else you can do. I'm going to go when Disney World is open. Great for garage, gets no love, but it doesn't deserve any. I like that a lot, Rebecca. That's hilarious.
Robbie Elliott gave another $5.
Robbie Elliott. Well, this guy's the best.
you, Robbie.
I'm way far up from this. There's a lot of catching up. Love your show, Pete. Thanks so much, Robbie, for the support. Again, let me plug this while I catch up on the chat here. If you're not a WIGS member, you should be. That is the WDWNT Inner Globe Society. You can find it over on Patreon /WDWNT. For as little as $2 a month, you can get a ton of bonus content. We send you stuff. You get core bucks. You get post shows. Last night we did a post show for Park Center just for our WIGS members. So yeah, join our extended family and become a member of the WIGS. Also, if you want, like Robbie, you can always throw a super chat out there. That's totally up to you. I know everyone's kind of doing their own struggle, but hey, if you got the extra means, it helps out shows like this and helps keep us on the air. So thank you so much. I really appreciate every dollar anyone ever gives. It really does mean a lot to me personally, because I don't have any dollars right now. So I appreciate people who do. Let's see. A lot of good garage stuff. Yep. Man, people love the wine garage.
Someone requested a Disney death match for parking garages, and Kevin messaged Eric Morton, and it is now confirmed that there will be a parking garage Disney death match.
That is a good idea. He'll make $1 million with super chats if he does that. People are passionate about their garages. I like Phenomenal Brandy wrote, there's a new escape room confirmed. The Lime Garage in 4 minutes. I love it. That's really
That would actually be really funny.
Escape garages. It's the new trend. Orlando, city of 1 million dreams and 5 million parking garages. You're not wrong, DC Studios. Robbie Elliott, again, thank you so much. And then I love Doug. Really? Are we talking about a friggin' parking garage? Yeah, man. Yeah. It's important, but probably not to anyone else, because a lot of you guys come down on vacation. We'll never really need to use them. I like Courtney calling me out, keeping me on track. Thank you, Courtney. The arguing and discussion used to be my favorite part of WMP when it was just a podcast. This is bringing back warm memories. Yeah, we'll have fun discussions together. We all love each other here. The not an attraction poster. Just so you know, that's where I'm at in the chat. Let's see. When we get all caught up, and I promise we're going to actually talk about what we said we were at some point today. Peter is here for fun. He doesn't have salary. That is factually correct. I don't get paid. I just do this because I love you guys. So I don't get paid for this show. I just love you people. So that's why I'm here. It's not a party with Pete anymore. It's now called Rant with Pete. What?
Ashley says on Slack that she'll be right back.
I figured I know people are working. It's also a party. People are coming and going. You'll see today we have other people who are going to be joining us later on. Besides Scotty from Jelly Rolls, we have other WDWNT staffers. It's a party. I tell people to come and go. If you got to go, you got to go. If you want to hang out, hang out. It's now called Rant with Pete. I like it. Although at parties, I have been known to rant about ridiculous things. So you're not wrong there. And let's see. And then, yeah, I'm pretty much caught up. Everyone else. And that's it. Okay, cool. So what we were planning on discussing today is live entertainment in the parks. And when I asked everyone when I was prepping the show is, to me, live entertainment is anything that involves a human being entertaining you. So, like Carousel of Progress wouldn't really count because those are animatronics. However, like Finding Nemo show, the Lion King show at Animal Kingdom, to Streetmosphere, to Barutica, whatever it involves an actual human being putting a smile on your face is what I'm counting as entertainment. And I thought we would go through. Hey, thanks so much, Rob. Appreciate that. What are the best $10 super chat? Thank you very much. So since you gave a super chat, I'll stop talking. Let's talk about what you want to talk about. What are the best restaurants open at Disney Springs? I'm headed there this weekend. So I had Boathouse yesterday. I know Wine Bar George is open. I'm going there with Eric, Lee, and Lauren on Friday. So I like Boathouse. I like Wine Bar George. If you could afford Wolfgang Puck's famous restaurant, not as good food, but Papa's broke. Tomorrow, I believe, a few of the other, I think like Pizza Ponte, Maria and Enzo's opens up. Those aren't bad. I am not an STK person, but STK is open and for some reason has a waiting list. Who knows? I love hot dogs made by strangers who set up a grill. That's always delicious. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can find those photos on the internet. Someone set up a grill and made hot dogs at Disney Springs yesterday. Frontera is open, and Frontera is one of my favorite restaurants by Rick Bayless, I believe is the chef. But man, Frontera is awesome. If you can go on Monday, they don't really talk about it, but they have the most ridiculous happy hour deals. They do $5 margaritas all day. They have like tacos are like $5. Awesome specials. Like the same margarita that's like $12 is $5 all day long on Monday. Go to Frontera. What else am I missing? Anything else you guys know that I'm missing at Disney Springs? So I can help out Rob? That's it. I would say support the Boathouse.
It's open right now, too. So,
yeah. Just so everyone knows, too, the Boathouse kept feeding their entire staff throughout this entire closure. So if anyone who worked at Boathouse, from the servers to the hostesses to the kitchen staff, didn't have food to put on the table or just said, hey, we need dinner tonight or lunches, they could go and pick up food at the Boathouse throughout the entire quarantine. I think that's awesome. They did that for their staff.
Amazing.
So support the Boathouse. I mean, that was, 8 or 9 weeks of them feeding their staff. Also, another thing I learned at the Boathouse yesterday, which I'm sure you guys will be interested in, is they're not just like saying, hey, we're reopening and having servers come out. Our server said he had to do like an hour and a half training and quiz on the new COVID-19 systems in place in the restaurant before he came in. And then they did another training in the restaurant. So, I mean, they're putting in, I don't know how much longer the training at the restaurant was, but let's just say it was an hour. That's at least 2.5 hours of training for the staff before they reopen. And
uh-oh. Did we lose
Frozen
Mr. Pete? Oh, but he looks so cute, doesn't he? Let's check on Slack, see if he's communicating with us here.
Someone in the chat said only 2 remain. For sure, yeah.
Where are you calling in from?
Orlando.
Oh, okay. So you didn't go to Disney Springs.
No, I did not go to Disney Springs. I live closer to the studio than anyone else, so that's what I tell people. So I don't know why I don't go to the studio for these things, but I could just be there. But
all my wife and I talked about for 2 months was how the moment anything opens, we're going to be there, and then it opened, and we're like, nah, we'll give it a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's like give it some time to settle.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But I'm excited. I'm excited to break into this conversation about live entertainment in the parks. This is my forte. I'm like stoked. Do you have anything that? Hey, Spencer.
Here comes Spencer.
Spencer
Welcome back,
exists
Spencer.
once again.
We got
Pete
rid of
doesn't
Pete.
exist. Yeah.
We'd had enough.
Oh, poor Pete.
Yeah.
Spencer,
what are
where
we talking
again?
about?
Where are you?
I'm in Tokyo.
So is there anything like crazy live entertainment wise in Tokyo that we don't have here in Disney World or Disneyland?
Well,
Hey.
how much time you got? Hey, Pete's back.
Oh, hey, Pete.
oh my God,
Just-
was
just
that frozen
in
the whole
time.
time?
You're just
Yeah,
in
you've
time,
been frozen
Pete or
for a few
Ted.
minutes.
Pete hates talking about Tokyo. You're just in time.
No, we can talk to him. Yeah, hey, why not?
It was all part of my master plan, Pete. Pete, we were trying to kill some time, so I had posed to Spencer, and we don't have to continue with it, but I had said, was there anything in Tokyo live entertainment-wise that's just like completely outrageous that we don't have here in Disney World or Disneyland?
That's a great way to go
And I
into
said
this
how much
discussion.
time
What'd
you
say?
got. I said how much time you got.
You have at least 45 seconds to discuss. Go.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. I really don't hate Tokyo Disney. I am just envious. It is really just jealousy and envy that I haven't been there.
Know.
Everyone says it's the greatest park ever, and that, you know, as you walk, fairy dust falls, and I just am jealous. So that's really.
I think the reason
jealousy.
I like to make this joke just because I was watching News Tonight one time, and Tom was talking about something from Tokyo, and Pete was like, "Oh my God, stop talking about Tokyo."
Well, Tom with Tokyo is like ridiculous. Like, it's just out of control. He just has to talk about how great it is every time. Like, we get it, Tom. We get it. We understand. But like, someone like references, like, it doesn't even have to be Tokyo. Someone's like, "Hey, what's up with the Pacific Ocean?" He's like, "You know what's next to the Pacific Ocean? Tokyo. You know what's in Tokyo? The greatest Disney park of all time. Let me tell you about it." It's out of control.
It's funny for me. It's funny for me. I think the most fun thing for me, or the most outrageous thing, was at both parks we have custodians. At Disney Sea, it's dressed like a regular custodian, but at Disneyland, he has like a special outfit. He's called Fun Maintenance, and he goes around with like a garbage truck, and the garbage, or like the little garbage bin that rolls around, and he's like rolling around, and he'll pull props out of it and start interacting with guests or just being silly. Like the one at Disneyland has like a bunch of tools, so it looks like he's doing maintenance and stuff. I visited Disney Sea with one of my friends. I can pull this up real quick. I visited Disney Sea with one of my friends right before it closed.
And that's time. Thanks so much. Great discussion. No, go ahead. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I visited Disney Sea before they closed, and we're just sitting there, and this guy like comes up and starts messing with my clothes. Oh wait, wrong one. There you go. It's like cleaning me off.
Yeah, see, this is why I'm jealous. It's straight up jealousy. That's super cool. I don't even know what just happened, and I'm jealous.
That's so
He's like
funny.
this custodian guy who just runs around and starts interacting with guests. That's like the thing that stands out the most to me.
That's wild. I love that. Sorry, Pete. I didn't mean to upset you today. This is your show.
No, I'm not upset at all. Listen, if people, you know what's funny too, when I played like the gangster and they thought during the game on WDW News Tonight that I was actually upset. I was just in character having a good time. This is the highlight of my week. I love hanging out with all you guys. I love hanging out with the chat. It's just, this makes me happy. So I'm not upset at all. I'm having a good time. This is me having a good time.
Unless you talk about Epcot Forever, and then he's serious.
Don't you dare bring that up, Shannon. We're having a good show. Why do you have to do this to me? That's it. I need time. I'm putting myself in timeout.
A whole new world.
I'm not a fan, are we, Pete?
It's not that
It's
I'm
okay.
not a fan.
It's not count as live
a better
entertainment.
place without the show.
Just wait till Harmonious comes, and he'll be begging for the return of Epcot Forever.
Oh, don't you dare say that.
Speaking of the worst and the best entertainment, let's get back into it. And thank God we're talking about live humans and not terrible firework displays. All right, so what I thought is the way we can kind of go around here. Oh, man. All right, hold on. We're going to put off this discussion one more time. 2 questions in the chat, which I think are relevant. Ted, some people don't know you, and I think we should tell them all about you. So do you want to just introduce yourself and what you do for WDWNT for those who don't know?
Oh, sure. Hey, yeah. Well, hi, y'all. Nice to meet you. So I came to the team about 3 months ago, right before all of this craziness happened. I am a professional stage director. Ran a regional theater for 20-some years, and always had an affinity and a love for Disney. In fact, growing up in the Northeast with my folks, I had half family that was engineer, half family that was artist. So I always really wanted to be an Imagineer. But the theater swept me out first. But now I'm lucky enough to be here in Southwest Florida with my wife and our family, and working with y'all. And really exciting. I think within the next month or two, we're going to release a new show, which is going to be really dedicated to the live performance aspect in Disney parks. And so excited to bring that to you guys. And if you've checked out online, I've done some copycat recipes under the name Trader Ted. And so much akin to Pete. Pete, I've got you beat. I've got the COVID-25, my friend, because I go hard.
Nice.
So. So I'm ready. So I will actually be walking from Southwest Florida to Disney Springs.
I'll think on the way, I'm sure.
Because my White Claws are replaced with pina coladas. So, but thank you for asking. Nice to meet you all, and look forward to chatting.
Yeah, Ted's awesome. We did a show
Ted is
about
awesome.
Broadway together. So that's Ted, everyone. For everyone who doesn't know Ted, I'm sure you know the rest of our fun little group here. All right, let's actually get into it. So let's go park by park, because there's so much entertainment, and maybe we can just discuss each park, and then we'll kind of give our favorites at the end. And I'm working off of Disney's website, because who knows, entertainment-wise, what is still here and what is not when we get back. But over at the Animal Kingdom, we're going to work our way up the list and end at the Magic Kingdom, because why not finish on a high note over at the Magic Kingdom? Over at DAC, Disney's Animal Kingdom, we have Bollywood Beats. We have Donald's Dino Bash. We have the Festival of the Lion King. We have Finding Nemo the Musical. Then there's meet and greets, which we're not that I don't want to discount meet and greets, but like entertainment isn't like they're doing more than just putting their arm around you and taking a picture. You have the Pandora Drummers. You have the Pandora Rangers, the dude in the suit. There's free sound effects. You get sound effects here on the show. You get the Tam Tam Drummers of Harambe, and then you have the Viva Gaia Street Band. So, anyone have any personal favorites? What's any of these stand out to you guys when you're at the Animal Kingdom?
Finding Nemo. I love the Finding Nemo musical.
I'm with Shannon.
I've talked about that multiple times.
What is
I think
going
our
on?
special guest is.
It's our underscoring.
I believe
but yeah,
that is
Finding Nemo
Scotty
is
warming up,
amazing.
and Jason might want to mute him. If Jason is watching, I'm going to shoot Jason a text. We are going to bring Scotty in about 25 minutes.
Oh, I was hoping he was going to play that while I was giving my bio. That would have been nice underscoring.
He's giving some like dramatic underscoring. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
it's
that.
Like, nice.
Yeah. Once upon a time.
I mean,
It sounds
we
good.
got background music for this discussion. I mean, why not? This show is
doesn't
so
match
much
your
fun today.
rage,
I'm having a
though.
great
It
time.
We need something
It isn't-
angsty to
yeah,
match
the
your
thing
rage
is-
today, Pete.
Yeah. Especially if we're talking about the fireworks show that shall not be named.
Yeah. All right, let's talk Animal Kingdom here. Go ahead, Shannon. You were saying. I'm sorry.
I was saying I love Finding Nemo the musical. I've mentioned it on multiple live shows that I love it. It's so good. It should be a full Broadway show. The puppets are amazing. The music's amazing. I mean, the music is by, Broadway music people, composers. That's the word I'm looking for. Music people.
Broadway music people.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's very good. That's basically my whole thing.
Just to let everyone know what's going on behind the scenes, Jason has lost his connection as well.
Yeah.
So no one's running this at all. No one has control of the show via vMix. Who knows if we're going to get Scotty on? Who knows if this black box will turn into a human being again? The train is off the tracks and we're just enjoying the ride. This is like Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway. Goofy has taken full control and the show is off the track. I agree with you, Shannon. I was going to say,
Thanks for spoiling Runaway Railway for me.
If you don't know, now you know.
You mean the train runs away?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give anything else away. I'm just saying.
You think
What
you're
is
so
happening?
funny, don't you, Shannon?
I shouldn't be drinking. Here's the shirt of the day, and I
I
think
also
now
have
it
it
makes
written
sense.
down.
It's Thursday. Let's
Cool.
get hammered. Which with this show, it might start happening soon. I might have to break out a claw or two.
Ashley.
Ashley's
Hey,
back.
Lovely work. But hey.
All All right, so let's get through this because we have a commercial break, and if Jason comes back in about 15 minutes, and then we're gonna bring on Scotty, and then we'll pick up this discussion after we hang out with Scotty a little bit. But Ashley, and also Spencer and Ted, I kind of want to know yours too. We're discussing entertainment. We're in the animal kingdom first. Any favorites when it comes to live entertainment at the animal kingdom?
Well, obviously, the best live entertainment at all of Walt Disney World is the Up Bird Show at the Animal Kingdom. It's the best. You're not going to beat it.
Fired.
I don't think you all understand how sarcastic I'm being, but
I do like seeing birds.
I do.
Listen,
I miss the old show.
I don't hate the show. People hate that show. I don't hate on it.
I miss the Flights of Wonder show. I actually liked that one.
I think that was a better show.
Flights of Wonder was cool. Yeah, that was a great show.
It feels too forced. It doesn't make any sense.
They need some story work. I think what they do in the show is very cool. I just think they need to work on how they incorporate it. I just think they just need to write a little bit of a better story or have some other characters. I know they're trying to pigeonhole the characters from Up into a show. Maybe they can do it a little bit better. But what the birds do are very cool. Like if you just watch, if you watched it on mute, which probably if you watch this show on mute, it'd be better as well. But what the birds do is very cool. They're trained beautifully. I also wanted to bring up just Festival of the Lion King. It's one of my favorite shows on property. And it's tailored to everyone. As an adult, I like it, but I love taking like my younger nieces and nephews and seeing them get excited and clap, and then seeing them like look up in the sky for the ballet and the part, and then with the fire, and then the monkeys and the trampolines. It's a lot of fun, and also there's beautiful moments too where like you get those chills and those goosebumps. When it comes to live entertainment, I think they do it well in all the parks. But the fact that you have Festival of the Lion King and Finding Nemo the musical in this park, you can go to this park and literally just do shows during the day and have one of the best days ever at Disney. It's that good. Both of those shows, in my opinion. Anyone else thoughts on entertainment at the Animal Kingdom?
I have to agree with Lion King. I also, I forget now because they're gone, unfortunately, but the band that used to play in Africa.
Verudica?
I love, yes, there you go. That's what I was trying to think of. They were always great, and I thought they brought such a great energy to Harambe, because you could hear them from a distance, and then you walk up there, and they're there, and it just made everything so lively and fun. They were always great about interacting with people, and I haven't been back since they've been gone, but I have a feeling that I will notice that they're gone, and it's a shame because they were really great.
I don't see them listed, but the acrobats in Africa are like literally my favorite part of the day as I'm walking through that park. I love grabbing a drink over at, oh my gosh, why can't I think of it right now? Dawa Bar. I was gonna say Lauren has a Dawa Bar shirt. I hang out at the Dawa Bar. I love the bartenders over there. They're good friends of mine because why wouldn't they be? And when those acrobats guys come out, man, they always put on a show. I'm pretty sure every time they perform, it's like 115 degrees outside, and they're dancing and they're climbing all over each other and doing all this acrobatic stunt work. It is so much fun. I'm always screaming, yelling, clapping. Stuff like that makes my heart happy. Just when you're just transformed this little African village, which is just bustling and people on their way to Kilimanjaro safaris or into the shop or into the little restrooms over there, and you have Dawa Bar and waiting in line for Tusker House. And all of a sudden, you just see these guys coming out, stomping their feet, clapping. The music kicks on, and you're like, what is happening? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I do remember the first time that happened is I was like, we have to stop and watch this. Am I allowed to participate? Is this a show where I can come on and hang out with you guys? So I don't see them listed. I hope they're coming back, but they are one of my favorite things to watch when I am in the Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I have to say that I think Finding Nemo the musical is. I've said it before. I think I've said it in the Give My Regards to Broadway show. It's out of this world. I mean, it really, really is. It has all the makings to be, a professional Broadway production. It is a professional production, obviously. And I think part of what we're going to do on the future show is, really give a critical review of this work, because it stands the sort of it stands the test of time because it's been around for a long time now, but it deserves that credit that you would get from a New York review. I think it's sort of the obvious choice, out of the two, but doing a little research, I looked at the Jungle Book musical that came before it, and then we had the temporary Tarzan Rocks. And what's funny about those is I don't think either one quite measures up to what Finding Nemo has become, but you could sort of see the brainchild, sort of the testing some different mechanisms and ideas, and sort of the way to use that, that animal kingdom for those things. So I really appreciate what came before it. It's so hard, though, for me to pick between a fully staged production like Finding Nemo, and I have so many friends and family that have been a part of that production, so I'm perhaps a little bit biased at times, but I do have to agree that any bit of street atmosphere in any of the parks also is like that hidden gem for me, because I'm one of those people, I think probably from being involved in the arts for so long and being on the behind the table sort of side of things, the directorial side, I don't really want to participate per se, but I love to walk by and have it be a part of my surrounding. So I don't always stop and sort of pay the homage that these acts, the streetmosphere deserves. And I'm certainly not the guy that's like, oh, make fun of my shirt or talk about this or whatever if we're in Hollywood studios or whatever. But I like seeing it happening. And I think it's equally as much of a production as something like Finding Nemo. Sort of like, even to talk about today, like Jelly Rolls, like walking by Jelly Rolls and hearing the music as the door opens is as much of a part of the boardwalk as being inside Jelly Rolls itself, So it's so hard, man. Picking your top three, it's like, forget it, man. This is not Sophie's choice.
You're totally right, and you make a great point. Is how do you kind of rank that? Because if you took away old Streetmosphere, or like I said, that hustle and bustle that different shows create, or that background music, or that cheer of the crowd, even like the distance, or even if I'm in the Harambe Market on the opposite side, when that show's going on and I hear the music faintly in the background or the crowd cheering, it creates an atmosphere in that park. I feel like I'm in a little village, or if I'm over in Asia, like just watching, like Bollywood Beats. Like it's just, even if I don't stop and watch, you're totally right that it creates an atmosphere. And that is, I think, what Disney does best, and why we love Disney, is that they're brilliant at creating these, at putting us somewhere else. It's transforming the world around us.
And Pete, you even said when you were in Disney Springs, and I know it's piped in, but you're listening to music, you're hearing those tunes that I'm sure we've all been listening to on our phones like for the past few months every day. But you're hearing that, and that's not even live, and that's doing something. And for me growing up, we would go to, we were between Philadelphia and Atlantic City. We would go to like Harrah's Hotel with my grandparents, and I loved Harrah's, woo! And I loved falling asleep to the sound of the casino underneath the room we were in, because it wasn't just the music. And at those days, man, it was still live music at 2:00 at night, and even some stars like Eder, from, if anybody recognizes that name, from Broadway. You had these performers singing, and hearing the audience applaud and the chatter is what got me. So I feel similar. It is one of my concerns with doing away with as much streetmosphere as I think they've been doing, because it's not just the music you're hearing, it's also the response that people are giving, the applause or the chatter about it or the hubbub that it creates. It's soothing in a way. For me at Harrah's, it was like a way to sort of nod off, but at the parks, it's an energy unto itself.
Yep.
Sorry to wax poetic
100%.
about that for so long.
Nope, it's a fantastic point. I couldn't agree more. All right, so let's just do it. Let's rank.
Jason has messages about the tech issues in Slack. If you want to check on.
I'm texting him.
Oh, okay.
To read Slack, I was texting him. This is what happens. Just running a show, we're all having a nice discussion. Meanwhile, I'm like texting Jason, making sure Scotty's good. All right, now I have to go to Slack. So, all right, let's just go around, and I'll go read Jason's messages, but we'll go around. If you had to rank your top 3 acts or entertainment at the Animal Kingdom, let's just do the Animal Kingdom, make it easy for this one. How would you guys rank your top 3? In no particular order, go nuts. I'm going to read Jason's messages now.
Since the only two I know very well are Festival of the Lion King and Finding Nemo the musical. I'm going to go with 3, I don't know, 2, Festival of the Lion King, and 1, Finding Nemo the musical.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's definitely Finding Nemo, Festival of the Lion King, and then I don't know, one of the Street Mythspheres.
Yeah,
Honorable mention to Flights of Wonder.
Yeah, Flights of Wonder.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say, and this might be controversial clearly in this chat, but I wouldn't have Finding Nemo on my list. I don't particularly enjoy. I don't know why. I don't enjoy that show. I don't at all. I've only ever sat and watched it once, and I know
your opinions are bad, and you should feel bad.
Nope. But so I would probably say for 2 and 3, just all of the Streetmosphere. Because to Ted's point, whether I enjoy a particular act or not, if I stop and watch it or not, just the fact that they are there makes such a difference to the energy of the area. Like I said, you hear them playing, you see everything, and it just makes the park feel so much more alive. And it's one of those things that sets Disney parks aside from other parks, especially like a Six Flags or something like that. Like that's one of the things that makes it feel different, is that they have Streetmosphere and the park feels alive and that it has its own energy. So I would probably say all of Streetmosphere for 2 and 3 at some varying level, and then Festival of the Lion King for number 1, because I do love that show.
I was hoping to try to get away from not doing it, but I feel dishonest if I don't. So I like, by the way, I like how bummed, like there was so much love and like joy ripping apart the parking garage to shreds, and then it gets to like listing our top 3 things, and we just got morose and sad, and like if I say this, okay, I'm gonna say Finding Nemo has to be number 1. Just knowing what goes into making that happen. Okay, but I'm gonna go. I'm like this guy. I'm gonna cheat in the game. I'm this guy. I'm gonna leave Streetmosphere and the other things out of it just because, and I'm gonna say. After that, Tarzan Rocks, after that, Jungle Book, and I know that they're not in the parks right now, but because they all inform each other and because they've sort of created, I think you couldn't get Finding Nemo without those 2 before them, and I think that's part of what like is so great. I mean, that's sort of why I love the history of Disney live entertainment, is because you could see how one idea informs another, or even in another way. I mean, back when the parks opened, I mean, wasn't there Mickey Mouse's circus, and then they're like, oh, let's not do that again, so you also learn ways to to kind of correct those things. So
I loved Tarzan Rocks, and I was like so sad when it left, but luckily they replaced it with Finding Nemo. I don't remember Jungle Book. That was before my time.
There's a YouTube out there. There's a YouTube out there.
Like those were both before my time.
Tarzan Rocks was around when I was a kid. I just don't remember ever seeing it.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I never saw Tarzan Rocks either, which is sad because I love theater and I love Tarzan. And I love the Animal Kingdom.
I mean, when did the Jungle Book one close? That probably I might have seen it. It probably existed when I was really little, but I don't.
We talked about
it. I printed all that info out. Yeah.
You guys did a watch along of the Jungle Book musical?
On Earth Day for Animal Kingdom.
There you go. So Alex, you want to go see it? Check out the vid on Earth Day, which I believe is April 22nd, if I know my Earth Day facts correctly. Also, the anniversary of Disney's Animal Kingdom. Congratulations to you guys.
Ooh, look at that. Your SEO score is going to be high.
I'm saying this like, when did Jungle Book exist? Animal Kingdom opened after I was born, so like it was around when I was alive, but I don't know if I saw it.
All right, did we all do our top 3?
Kingdom opened 2 years after, or 2 years before I was born.
Holy mother of God, you child. All right, so for my top 3, and full disclosure, just Party with Pete. So we're all friends here, and this is a party. Working things out with Jason. Obviously, you guys have figured out we're having a little technical difficulties on our end. what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you my top 3. Well, I'll do that first. So I think, and everyone who's heard me talk about Finding Nemo the musical I think they are the most talented people on the planet, that they're able to sing, dance, fly through the sky while doing their dialogue and performing their songs, and flipping and running through the audience. And they're also controlling a puppet on top of all of that. Like, if you just did all of that, it's amazing, but you're also controlling a puppet. However, it's going to be my number 2, only because of repeatability and how long the show lasts. And when I rank things, if I have somebody it's a combination of if I'm showing someone something for the first time, but also how often can I go and do it? Like, for me, the reason I'm putting Festival of the Lion King above Finding Nemo is it's a quick show. It's a half-hour show. We're right around there. And to me, it has a lot of repeatability, is that it's a quick show. There's a lot of different elements. It's moving. And if I'm also taking someone to see it, even if you don't like the fire dancing part, you might like the ballet. If you don't like the monkeys, you might like this. You might love the monkeys. There's just a lot happening. There's singing and dancing. It's a sing-along. It's fun for kids and adults. With Finding Nemo, again, I love it, and I'll go see it a bunch of times. But, like, is that a show I could sit and watch every single time? It's a long show. Also, can I take my niece and nephew to that show every single time they visit me? No, they get antsy around the 20-minute mark and just want to climb all over the seats. So for those reasons, I'm going to put Festival of the Lion King 1, Finding Nemo 2, and then again, I don't know if I can count this, but I'm going to do it, is my boys, the acrobats in Africa, are the shiznit. They are the best, and they create an atmosphere. They're super talented. They're fun. They interact with guests. I am a fan of All Streetmosphere, so I would rank it higher, but just the production value. They don't have the same production value because they're in the middle of a walkway and not in a theater, but they deserve to be on my list. All right, here's what we're going to do. And I'm going to get my phone ready. So apparently, Jason, this show is run through vMix. I'll give you a little behind the scenes here. This show is run through vMix. We had a normal producer, Kevin, but he is unavailable because he's out on business. So Jason is helping me out. And he is running this show from Pennsylvania into our studio in Orlando, and then out to the 5 of us here, plus Scotty, who's waiting in the wings, and then broadcasting that out to all of you. And apparently the computer or something at the computer in the studio, which no one is there, I guess, has to just be a quick rebooted. But he can show commercials while he reboots it. So we're going to go to a commercial break now, which we were planning on doing anyway at 12:25. And then when we come back, hopefully everything will be working, and we will have Scotty from Jelly Rolls with us to hang out, talk, play some tunes. So that is the plan. So if anything goes wrong, now you guys will know what's happening. We have a full disclosure. We're a happy family here. So I'm going to take the phone. We are ready for the commercial. And again, normally we don't do this, but let's have fun together. You guys all get to see what it's like. My notes, the people I'm texting, the Slack, and I'm watching the chat, and I'm talking with all of you guys and running a show. It's fun. So we're going to go to commercial. We will be back. Hopefully we're going to commercial, but we will be back in about 5 minutes with Scotty from Jelly Rolls. Hopefully this all works. Please stick around.
Dreamfinders is WDW News Today's podcast all about the creative culture surrounding Disney parks. Authors, Imagineers, dancers, actors, photographers, filmmakers, and a whole lot more have all stopped by to chat about how Disney has inspired their artistic work.
But I still remember sitting in conference tables and looking across at Michael and Jeffrey Katzenberg and this sort of little 6-year-old inside of me going, what in heaven's name is going on here?
And we're off and running, and Tony needs someone to lay it out for him. And there's no architect available. So the next thing I know, I'm laying out the pavilion.
I got to tell you, I have not enjoyed a podcast so much. It's just a warm conversation, and a warm and intelligent conversation, which you don't find that often in podcasts.
Dreamfinders. Episodes drop every other Tuesday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcatcher.
Four panelists, 30 minutes, 1 week in Disney Parks news. This is Parks Center. On Parks Center, the panel and I cover the top 7 Disney Parks stories of the past week. From attraction news to transportation scandals to new food and merchandise, we'll cover it all in 30 minutes or less. You can watch us stream live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. at WDWNtunes.com, Watch episodes on demand at youtube.com/WDWNT or subscribe to the audio version of the show on your favorite podcast app.
Pressing Issues is the spin-off of the WDW News Today podcast segment as a long-form panel discussion in which some of the brightest minds of WDWNT analyze the biggest stories of the week and their impact on the Walt Disney Company, its parks, guests, and cast members. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, or afterward on the WDW News Today podcast feed.
On every episode of the Ride Rehab podcast, we put ourselves into the shoes of Imagineers. Here's a preview of our most adventurous episode in Adventureland.
And then there was also the zipper.
Everyone knows about the zipper. Everyone knows about the zipper.
The zipper's like this. It was built in the 50s. And it's made out of like clockwork gears.
Even my Planet Coaster guests won't go in the zipper.
Yeah.
Well, wait, that's it.
We put a zipper in there?
Absolutely.
A zipper ride.
That's the real adventure, is a broken neck. Part 2 of this episode will come out on the 21st, so we'll see you then.
Be sure to tune in every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for WDWNT's premiere show, WDW News Tonight. We've got news, games, discussions, and more, including some great unexpected moments like this.
What wildly popular snack was originally created at Disneyland's Casa de Fritos in the early 1960s?
It's gotta be the pickle. I'm going with the pickle.
The pickle, you're going with the pickle.
It's just a pickle.
You go.
That's a classic part.
The pickle.
Started
Pickle. Tom has physically gotten up. Can you repeat the question, please?
The snack that was created in the Fritos house. It's in the commercial.
The pickle was created at Disneyland? Like there were no pickles before Disneyland.
One's favorite. Everyone grew up eating pickles, you know.
Oh no, she's talking about the snacks. Not the pickle that grows out of the ground, but like
before that, it was just a side dish with barbecue food. And then it became a snack.
Carly, do you agree or disagree with the pickle?
I definitely disagree.
Yes! Yes, girl.
It was Casa de la Fritos.
Pickle.
I'm glad they didn't ask me. I was gonna say the handwich.
You can catch all this and more on WDW News Tonight. Watch live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
sound, but I can do dance moves.
Yes.
Check 1, 2. Welcome back to Miming with Pete. And there's Scotty. I hear Scotty, but we're muted. We're back. There he is. Scotty, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can.
Awesome.
Can you hear
and we are hitting this bit a day. I can hear you. You sound great. Before I get into it with you, I just want to make sure they can hear us. Okay, they can hear us in the chat. Oh, boy, it is a day. Anyway, welcome to the show, Scotty. Thank you so much for being on Party with Pete.
I am so glad to be here. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh, man. It hasn't been smooth, but we got you here, and that's all that matters. Kind of like how I make my way to Jelly Rolls after a long day in the parks. It's not always...
I mean, honestly, what has been smooth in the last since the middle of March anyway?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, Scotty, obviously we're going to play some tunes. You're known for your amazing voice and your amazing skills on the piano. But let's just find out a little bit more about you. So how long have you been with the Disney company? How did you make your way? Have you always down to Florida? Have you always been a Floridian? Let's learn about Scotty.
Yes. All right. Let's go way back to where I grew up in Pittsburgh. And I grew up in Pittsburgh, and there's a place called Jelly Rolls. That was the very first Jelly Rolls, was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So as a kid, I would walk past that place, and I would always see it. And I said, when I get older, I want to go in there and audition. So I auditioned, and they said, well, we don't have a spot here. We've got a spot in Orlando. Are you willing to move to Disney World? And I said, hold on, Disney World, that's my dream, is to work at Disney World. So are you kidding me? So it couldn't have been more perfect. That was in 2002.
Wow. That is when I graduated high school. First of all, you aged beautifully. The fact that you moved in 2002, I would assume you were much, much younger, but that's incredible. You've been with Jelly Roll since 2002. Am I getting feedback? What is happening? Can you hear that? This is fun. This is real fun. Jason, I don't know if it's possible to fix the feedback, but I'm getting a ton of feedback.
If it's on my end, let me know what I can do to fix it.
I just don't want it to affect when you're playing later on. And the track can hear the feedback too. Do you have the sound on for the show on any system on your end? Oh, it's because you don't have the headphones. All right, so I'm hearing myself through your computer.
Okay, afraid of. How about if I turn it down a little bit?
That could work. We're gonna power through here. All right, that's perfect. I don't care. A little bit of feedback's fine. So 2002, you moved down to Walt Disney World. You are in Jelly Rolls. So when did the Jelly Rolls here in Orlando open? I don't even know this.
So yeah, that would have been 1996.
Okay, so they've been around a while. So you go in because now you have the most seniority, if I'm correct, right?
No, I seniority. We have players that have been there since the very first day, and Jelly Rolls opened the same year that opened, so since the very beginning.
Wow. So who's got the most seniority over there?
A guy named Michael, and he's been there since the beginning. And that's Ray. Ray has been there since the very beginning, and he's been there ever since. Mike a couple of years off, but Ray's been there ever since the very beginning. And so he was the guy that I played with. That was my partner for 15 years. We played together and shared the stage. Ray.
That's super cool. So what was it like when you moved down here? I mean, you just kind of uproot your life. You leave Pittsburgh. You come down here, and you're going to go work for Disney. What were those first few years like, or those first few months like?
As you can imagine, I mean, it was a little scary. You know, all my family's up in Pittsburgh, but made a lot of great friends down here. And in fact, I met my wife at Jelly Rolls, and and we've been married for 13 years, and yeah, so it's made a lot of friends. But moving to a new place is always a challenge. But I was lucky because where I moved, since I moved to Dill, I had of Central Florida at my fingertips. So I used to go and on my days off, just enjoy walking around Epcot or just enjoy walking around studios, Springs, and just doing the Florida thing.
No, I know it all too well. I just moved here from New York in August, and I'm right in Disney's backyard here. I live right next to Disney Springs. So same thing. Like people are like, how's it? And I'm like, I miss all the people, and it is scary moving to a new place. But if you're going to move to somewhere new, having Disney a few miles away definitely helps.
Absolutely, and there's so much to do. There's so many fun things to get involved with, and I've really come to love the city of Orlando. It's really become a great home for my wife and our family. So it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, at the beginning there was a lot of challenge trying to figure out how to be entertaining on stage. The format at Jelly Rolls is to do all requests. So. Yep. And tons of songs, and that challenge at the very beginning because Pittsburgh people liked, but people in the Midwest really enjoyed, or people who live in the South music. So it's a challenge, but I guess maybe after a year or two, I really got the hang of it and got comfortable on stage and really started having a lot of fun, and I've been having tons of fun ever since.
I was going to say, you've put on, again, I just moved here in August, so I've been there a lot more often since I moved down, but on all of our trips, everyone knows, my audience especially knows, I am a huge fan of Jelly Rolls. I bring it up on all the shows, even on our charity shows, I auction off to come out with me to Jelly Rolls for a night, and I pay for their admission and pay for their drinks. So, like, awesome. I'm always pushing people to Jelly Rolls, even at our special events that we've had in the past. As soon as the event's over, I'll get on the mic or I'll just yell because I have a loud voice. We're all now taking this party to Jelly Rolls. Please follow me. I'll guide us all there. So I'm a huge fan of your work, and I've seen your stuff since I've been coming down all throughout my 20s and into my 30s. So, and you've always put on an amazing show. As we discussed, too, we've had piano Rob Volpe on the show twice already.
Yeah. He's a great
awesome.
Guy, good friend, and a fantastic musician. Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing. And everyone there is really talented. And even we talked about with him, too, just as the new faces kind of come in and other faces go for other opportunities, everyone works so well together. And it's like you guys just keep expanding. I don't know what songs you can't do because now you also – I was there before the break, and you guys were doing Lizzo. It's out of control. You're doing – yeah. I'm sure you hate it. I'm not requesting Lizzo, but I can appreciate that you can do it. So let's do it. Let's do it.
So when you say you, it's not me, but I'm very lucky because a lot of workers, all of my coworkers. So we kind of all plan the gaps. Everybody knows a little bit of something. When I don't,
you're just clipping.
That is a lot of fun.
I don't know if it's my internet. I don't know if it's our system today, or I'm going to ask our chat. So, by the way, we do have a large. So too. Maybe we'll do a little bit of request work too. For those who don't know, and if you're just tuning in, we are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, Twitch, and the chat we use for this show that I primarily watch is on the YouTube chat. So anyone's watching and wants to put in a request for Scotty maybe a little bit later on, you can jump on over to the YouTube chat. And I'm just going to check with the chat now. Can you guys, is the internet clipping just for me, or can you guys see that too? Yeah, it's cutting in and out. Apparently, because your stream, I'm only hearing like every other word you're saying. And you're frozen right now. And now you're not. Now you are frozen.
Well, you're better off.
All right. So I'm just going to ask a question to see if this is working again. What are your favorite? And I've asked Rob this. I know this is almost an impossible question, But like, what's the best part of working Jelly Rolls? Like, or what's the best night you could have? What are those dream nights for you guys when you go to work?
Yeah, I mean, every night you're gonna need to
Scotty, if you can hear me, I'm going to cut you off because I can't hear you. If I could ask,
sometimes
I can't. If you can hear me, you're clipping. I can't hear you. But if you could refresh your feed again, that should work. I'm being told, and I am so sorry to make you do that as a special guest. But I can't hear you, and I want to make sure I hear your answers. Oh, boy, this is fun. Anyway, for all those who are watching, thanks for sticking around. I see that everyone is sticking around. I really appreciate that. And if you have not been to Jelly Rolls, the way it works, it's just like most piano bars around the country. You would go, hey, there's all of our friends. Awesome. Normally, we would you would go in, you would enjoy the tunes, and the way it works, you would get a pile of napkins, a pen, you write down your request, and you would take it up to the piano, and then, of course, the very talented performers work off your gratuity. So you would attach a gratuity to that, and that kind of gets your song pushed a little closer to the front of the pile or not, although not all the time. But it really helps to support your performers wherever you go to any piano bar. There's no such thing as too much generosity, and these guys are so talented. So if you do have any requests for today, you don't have to write on a napkin. You can just put it right in the YouTube chat, and I will try and get those over to Scotty once we get this thing figured out. Hopefully he comes back stronger and better than ever. I see all you guys. Well, can you guys hear and see me? We got Ted back, Spencer back, and Ashley back.
Yeah,
Everything
you're
sounds
fine.
like
It's just Scotty that isn't coming through.
Scotty.
All right, so we'll work on Scotty's connection. Hey, we are having a day today. It's time to, since we're going to listen to some music and hang out, I'm going to open a beverage. So today's beverage of the day, while we're waiting, is I'm back to Soronas, everyone. Back to the Soronas. The Corona Seltzer. And here we go. Now we're going to feel like I'm back at Jelly Rolls. We're going to be hanging out singing. Spencer, can't wait to get you there. Ted, we need to go together. And Ashley and I have been to Jelly Rolls together, and it is a good time. Ashley can attest.
It's such a great time. Every time.
So I've never actually been out to a piano bar specifically before. So when you say that a lot of these folks work on requests, if you have a feeling that they might not know what you want, could you maybe attach a gratuity to like a set of sheet music or something and maybe try and get your request in that way?
No, I don't think it works. Scotty could probably testify. But I don't think it works quite like
it was just an idea I had.
No, but in their table, so most piano bars and the way Jelly Rolls, I think, primarily works is there's two sets of two performers. And what I tell people, if they're going to request a song that's out there or kind of complicated or they might not know this, is I think your best bet is to give them two options. Like, hey, can you play OAR Crazy Game of Poker or Billy Joel Miami 2017? That way they can pick one or the other if they don't know one. But the other thing is they're so talented, and I've seen them go back. Oh, we have Scotty back, and I see him again. So, Scotty, my friend Spencer down here in the corner has never been to a dueling piano bar. Did you hear his question?
I did hear the question.
Okay, cool.
About the
you can answer this. I've seen you guys go in the back and literally learn something and come out and play it. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
wow.
the whole sheet music thing, that would not be a good idea because most of us really don't we don't perform on sheet music. We perform usually by playing by ear. That's usually the way we do it.
Okay.
But yeah, if somebody requests a song that we don't know, usually if nobody knows it, one of us will go back during our break, learn it, and we'll perform it the next hour. That's usually how it works.
It really is incredible how the library of songs that you all know. I haven't seen something that you don't know, and you guys figure it out. Whether it's a rap song, a rock song, a sing-along, a Disney, it's truly remarkable. So I asked you a question. I couldn't hear you, and I would love to hear your answer. What is a great night at work for you? And I know, I'm sure every night's a great night, but what's the dream night when you come home from work and you're like, tonight was incredible?
Dream night is the audience that just wants to have fun. So they're singing along, they're laughing along, they're giving us material to play with, they're requesting great classic songs. They're not requesting Lizzo, and no. I mean, really, even I completely tease on that because every audience is different, and it's a lot of fun to really kind of narrow down our show to that night. That's a lot of fun for us.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part, being in the crowd, is when I see you guys having fun. Like, I'm always having a good time, but when you guys are having fun and laughing and playing, I love that. I think that's infectious, and that just fills the room with that energy that you're looking for. Since we're talking about music, let's see if we can get some songs going here. So when you say those classics, you want to hit us off with what you mean when you say some of those classics? What are those classics for people who may not know?
I'm using my wife's phone now to hopefully have a better experience here, and she's got all the windows open. So I'm trying.
Yeah, kill that, because I don't want to hear the song. You're too good.
So here, let's do it. Hey, where did we go? Days when the rains came down at Hollow, playing a new game, laughing and running, hey, skipping and jumping in the misty morning fall. Oh, my heart's a thumping in you, my brown-eyed girl. You, my brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when we used to sing sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la? There you go, Pete. So hard to find my way now that I'm all alone. Saw you just the other day, and where you have grown. Can't find me back there, Lord. Sometimes I'm overcome thinking about making love in the green grass behind the stadium with you, my brown-eyed girl. You, my brown-eyed girl. Do you remember when, one more time, we used to sing sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Classic. I mean, that's absolute classic right there.
My neighbors are gonna hate me. I just love muting myself so I can belt them out as loud as I want here. It's gonna.
You know, it would be great if I could do that. It would be so great if I could do that, but it's 1:55 a.m. and my neighbors will probably murder me if I do that. So
if they're gonna yell at you, they're gonna yell at you in Japanese.
You're fine.
The problem
Scotty,
is I understand enough of the language.
Scotty, is that weird to do this at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon instead of 9 o'clock at night?
I'll tell you what. So Jelly Roll's closed on St. Patrick's Day. So we've had the lights off since then, and I've been doing live streams from my house. And yeah, at the beginning, I thought, man, I'm just not going to be able to have that energy with the audience, quite like you have when you're in a room full of people having fun. So, but I've gotten really used to it, and especially seeing you guys dancing and singing, that means the world to me, because doing the live streams, you don't get any of that instant gratification, you know? Like occasionally you'll see my kids walk by and they'll smile, but other than that, like I don't see anyone enjoying my music. So yeah, so it is tough. As for the time of day, the only time of day that it's tough to really get into it is when you wake up in the morning, but I feel everyone feels that same way about going to their own job.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure vocally warming up. Do you guys do any warm up? I have a question. Do you guys do any warm ups when you get there? Do you guys do any kind of vocal warm up, or you guys are just like do it on your own in the car on the way to work? How does that work?
Yeah, usually in the car on the way to work. That way you're not being annoying to all the bartenders and all the other people that work at there. But yeah, you warm up a little bit. The really tough nights are when you get an unexpectedly cold night in Florida, and it really just takes a while to loosen the fingers up. That's one of the tough ones too. But the voice,
we've had
the voice loosens up easily.
Yeah, because we've had on like Yeehaw Bob and Carol from the UK, and they had similar things to say too, whether it's on or off the air. Like just most of the 95% of the time, everything's great. They warm up on their own. They have a great time. They love the crowds, but there is like the weather factor. Every once in a while you get a weird guest, but for the most part, they say it's a dream job working at Disney. And you do feed off the crowd as well. Like I'm in the entertainment industry as well, and crowd is everything. If I get a bad crowd one night, it kind of is like, the night goes so slow. But if you have a great crowd, you all of a sudden the night's over, and you're like, where did the time go?
Absolutely, you're exactly right. And when you say, you get a tough audience member, sometimes that can work to your advantage as well. Because
you guys are masters of that. Because again, I joke and I call Jelly Rolls the 12th stop in drinking around the world. Is that you do the 11 countries, then you walk up, and you go over to Jelly Rolls, which my friends call that's my 12-step program. But so you do get you get a rambunctious crowd. But you've handled it masterfully. I remember this one guy, and I'll tell a quick story for those who haven't been to Jelly Rolls. He was wearing the new Epcot reflective coat, the one that shines and shimmers.
You were there that night?
I was there that night. And it was that night. And yeah, you guys you had a good time with him. You turned him into the disco ball, if you will, and made him stand in the middle of the room and spin around for an entire song. He kept trying to stop. And he wanted to be the center of attention, so you guys just made him be the center of attention. You said, keep spinning. Keep spinning. It was masterful. Wow, it was so good.
And if you remember, the song that we played for him was Rocket Man. And when we got to the chorus, we sang Jacket Man. He's a jacket man. He's the Jacket Man. Yeah, that was so much fun. I'm surprised that you mentioned that because I forgot about that. And all those nights kind of bleed together. The dream is for moments like that for at least one moment like that to happen every night. And we had so much fun with that guy for hours. He was there the entire time.
It was beautiful because I'm sitting there, I'm turning to my friend, and I'm like, you can tell when someone's being a little obnoxious, and I'm like, this is a masterclass on how to deal with a tough audience member. Like, flip the coin, have some fun with them. It was amazing. I appreciated it so much.
Absolutely. There's working for Disney, there is a fine line that you have to toe the line, but you also need to make sure you never cross it. So it's very challenging at times because there are people that just want to keep pushing and pushing, and you give them a little bit and you allow them to have their moment to shine. But then you also have to pull the reins back on it too and say, hey, this is a family establishment, and this is, even though it's 21 and older, we still need to abide by the Disney standards, and we can't go any further than where we're going. But it really is fun towing that line too, because I think most of the guests realize, these are some things that happen at Disney World that nobody else gets to see, and it doesn't happen often, and it's a lot of fun, and it's an adult kind of fun too.
It is, and what's nice about the shows too, and I said this to Rob, is that if you are a repeat customer like myself or someone who's been there before, you appreciate all that, you love it, and you can see the different vibes of the night. But also, you guys do a great job of that. If I'm taking someone there for the very first time, every night is such a great experience and such a fun time that everyone who I've taken there has turned to me and said, how have I never been here before? We're going to make this a part of our vacation every time we come down here. So you do a great job of like pleasing the repeat customers, but also giving someone a night to remember as their very first experience. It's beautiful.
You know, a story I'd like to tell that that kind of goes along with that. There was an 80-year-old woman. This was 3 or 4 years ago. An 80-year-old woman who came in to celebrate her 80th birthday, and she was with her granddaughters and her daughters. And they said, "Grandma, we have to take you to this place." And she said, "I don't want to go in there." So she got there right at the beginning, 7 o'clock when the doors open, and we had so much fun with her. And she was the last person to leave that night. She was from New York. Her name's Jean. Yeah. I'll never forget her. I love her. And so we did a New York kick line in honor of 80-year-old Jean. We got we got to get all the guys in the room. So we got like 20 guys up on stage to do like an all-male full Monty kind of kick line. Yeah. It was just so much, and it was all in honor of Jean. It was so much fun. Yeah, we've had
incredible,
so much fun with things like that.
And that's something she'll remember, but her family, friends, and everyone in the room will remember forever. That's what I'm talking about. You're so good at creating special moments, but also as a regular mope like me who wants to be there at least once a week, I always have a great time as well. So and also the cast members. I mean, we haven't talked about this, but you guys, a big piece of your crowd, especially on Sundays now, are cast members. Yeah. So these people who are living and working there, and you guys do a great job with cast members as well. What do you Go ahead. I see you trying to say something because I just talk for hours and hours. So you can cut me off whatever you want.
I was going to say you're exactly right. Yeah, cast members, they need a chance to go out too. They're making magic for so many people all day long. They need a place where they can let their hair down and they can just relax a little bit. And I'm so proud that Jelly Rolls is the place that they've kind of adopted as the place that they go on Sunday night, just to decompress and have a little bit of fun. Yeah, Sunday night is a different night than the rest of the week. But nobody, if you're a cast member, you know, and if you're not a cast member, then you don't know. You just think this is a wild and fun night. We don't say anything, so we don't ruin any magic for people, but it really is a lot of fun.
I was there for that last Sunday night on March 15th, and that was the last day the parks were open. And that was a super cool night, very special. A lot of cast members, I was actually there with Tom, who owns WDWNT, and we had a staff member it was his birthday too. Really cool night, which is my transition is, speaking of cast members, is there's a ton of requests in the chat, and I'm sure you get this all the time, and I've heard you play it, is just some Disney tunes. What are some fun Disney tunes that you enjoy playing? And can we hear some?
Absolutely. Gosh, I know so many Disney songs. Yeah. So
we have you can go as deep as you want. Our audience are deep fans. So you can go on the surface or as deep as you want to go. Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'm going to go deep then, because you emailed me before today about a girl named Alyssa that is.
This is my surprise for Alyssa. Yes. Here you go.
Yes. So she's a college senior that's graduating this year, or a high school senior that's graduating this year, and was planning on celebrating at Disney and couldn't, obviously couldn't come. So you said,
to give everyone a little background, the email Scotty's talking about is, and again, thank you so much for all the warm emails I got last week. But Alyssa wrote me a beautiful email, and she was supposed to have a senior class trip to Disney. And sadly, that got canceled along with actually walking her graduation and everything else. And it was a beautiful email, and she said so many nice things to me. I contacted Scotty, and I said, hey, we got to do something special for Alyssa. She's watching, and all the other seniors, this is...
Oh, I was giving you a background.
Oh, that's good. I thought you were
sorry. No, I was giving you a background. I was trying to make an emotional moment.
You're going to make me cry. That's no good.
So this song was really popular in 1996, 1997 when I graduated high school. And I just think it's a wonderful song. And I would like to dedicate this to all the high school seniors who might be having a tough time celebrating. Can you remember back to a simpler time? Back to the watercolor days that still run through your mind. Oh, I remember just my old friend and me. Run through an open field the way it used to be. The feeling that our hearts could just take wing. We could live out all our dreams. The journey there was never far away. But like a dream come true, that's still inside of you. The secret of tomorrow is to live your dream today. Remember the night, remember the feeling, oh remember the magic of our lives. You opened up my eyes to a new world revealing. So remember the magic, just remember the magic one more time. Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember. You guys aren't old enough to know that one, I'm sure.
Yeah, right.
No.
Thank you so much for that. And that's you, Alyssa. Congratulations on graduating, all the seniors out there. Very proud of all of our graduating class. It's a tough year, but man, this is something you're going to remember for the rest of your lives. You're going to crush it. If you can do this, you can do anything. So proud of all the graduates out there. Yeah, my heart goes out to all of you. Anyway, let's get back into some of the classics and the hits here. Like, let's get the party started. I mean, what's one of your go-tos if you see the request on the piano when you want to get people getting up, getting excited? What's that one napkin you reach for?
Oh man, yeah. Let's see. Clock strikes upon the hour and the sun begins to fade. Still enough time to figure out how to chase my blues away. I've done right up till now. It's the light of day that shows me how. Where the night falls, my lonely heart calls. Oh, I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. Oh, I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me.
Okay.
Oh, what a night. Laid this down back in 63. Was a very special time for me. 'Cause I remember what a night. Oh, what a night. No, I didn't even know her name. But I was never gonna be the same. What a lady, what a night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night.
Oh no. Pete, it's your garage song.
Make my way downtown, walking past faces passing homebound. my way, I'm making my way through the crowd. And I need you, and I miss you, and now I wonder if I could fall into the sky. Do you think time would pass us by? Well, you know I'd walk 1,000 miles if I could just see you tonight. I love the dance moves. Yeah.
We're trying our best here. It is hot.
We're having fun. It's a party.
Is 1,000 Miles Pete's new garage song?
Oh, 1,000 Miles. What a banger. You guys didn't listen to that when you were getting pumped up? Love 1,000 Miles.
That song just makes me think of my childhood, so.
Yeah.
Well, see, and that's what we do. That's what we do at Jelly Rolls, is we really try to take everyone back to their childhood in some way. And when parents come with their adult kids, that's a lot of fun too. I mean, it's really great.
Yeah, nostalgia.
I'm not sure I could ever
big
get my parents in.
You'd be surprised.
I took my mom for the first time this year, and she was legit mad at me for holding this secret back from her. She was up on stage. It was her birthday. She was having the greatest night of her life. Like, I get my mom loves to dance. I've danced with my mom in the middle of Epcot. Like, Jelly Rolls is her jam. Now we're planning a trip for her to come back down to visit, and she has already said, like, we're going to Jelly Rolls, right? Her girlfriends are coming down with her. Like, we're taking her girlfriends down. It's going to be a good time. But I was saying, like, nostalgia plays such a big role in the Disney parks, and I feel like at Jelly Rolls, you're also getting that piece of nostalgia because music takes you to some point in your life when something happened, and most of the time, hopefully, a lot of songs we play that involves joy, which is huge. I'm looking at the chat. We got some requests. If I can shoot them out, you don't have to play any of them, or you can play some of them. But people were saying if you can do any Journey, or if you can do any Billy Joel or Miami 2017 or Vienna, or more Disney. They said they love the Disney song. What else? Again, maybe we'll finish with Happily Ever After. Maybe we'll save that. But or any more classic rock or pop songs. There's everything, so you can literally play anything and appease the crowd here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say I would go. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your good pal said. You got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. Some of the folks might be a little bit smaller than I am, big, stronger too, maybe. But none of them will ever love you the way I do. It's me and you, boy. So as the years go by, a friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. It took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. It took the midnight train going anywhere. Strangers wait I was neither at a backstreet guy. I bet a mama never told her why. I'm gonna try for an uptown girl. She's been living in a wide gray world. As long as anyone with high blood can. And now she's looking for a downtown man. That's what I am. And when she knows she wants from her time. And when she wakes up and makes up her mind, she'll say I'm not so tough just because I'm in love with an uptown girl. My uptown girl. I'm in love with an uptown girl. My uptown girl. I'm in love with an uptown girl. Woo! There you go. There's a few.
What a medley. What a medley.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, at Jelly Rolls, we'll play the whole song. I just threw together parts of those songs just to make it fit. But yeah, at Jelly Rolls, we do the whole night like that. The whole night is the whole song all the way straight through. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you guys,
I have a
you guys
question.
choose. You guys legit do. That's another thing that's just amazing to me is not only knowing how to play the songs on the piano, but knowing the lyrics for the entire song. We all know the first verse of every song, but you guys go deep. You guys know the third and sometimes fourth verses of songs, and I'm like, we didn't even need this, but we're getting it. This is incredible. You guys are just going on. It's unbelievable. Let me say
the lyrics are the toughest part. The music usually comes pretty easily when you're learning it, but it's the lyrics that's the hardest thing for me especially, but for a lot of people.
Yeah, because I mean, if you had to ballpark it, I know this is impossible, but how many songs could you play? Ballpark. Thousands?
No. Well, I mean, at last count it was around 500 and something.
So that's lyrics to
that's
500
no sheet music. I'm
yeah,
sorry?
that's what I'm saying. Matching the lyrics to 500 songs is incredibly hard. Like, it's so hard.
There are several other musicians at Jelly Rolls that know far more than that, and they blow my mind. I am in awe of them every time. So yeah, the trick is to just work and work and work at it. So yeah, my numbers are probably around 500 something, 520
and that's still
something.
growing. I'm sure that's still growing every month, year, every time you go.
Hopefully, the idea is that it keeps growing. Sometimes somebody will request a song you think you know, and it's like, oh man, I need to work on that one again.
That's funny.
People have been requesting "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life" recently, and that's another one. I knew that one back in the day, but now I need to really, really think about it. From Life of Brian, from Monty Python.
Always look on the bright
side. On the bright side of life.
Always look on the light side of life. If life seems jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten, and that's to smile and laugh and dance and sing. Remember, it's a show. Keep them laughing as you go. Remember that the last laugh is on you. And always look on the right side of life. Always look on the light side of life.
Impressive. Yes. All right, so I have to ask, and I'm sure maybe you're excited to do this again, but I'm sure you get it every time you play. For me, when we walk in and I see you behind the keys, I say, all right, guys, I have a little treat. We're going to save it for the end of the night. But then someone will request it before me. I think you know what I'm going to say. I happen to have
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
So hold on, Pete, though. Pete, we have to brag on Scotty for just a second, because the first time we brought Tom to Jelly Rolls, and he didn't necessarily want to go, and I can remember him ragging on Jelly Rolls prior to us taking him there. And Pete and I were talking in the car, and we're talking it up, and I think I even pulled up the schedule on Facebook to see which one of y'all were there. And me and... we lost him. He's going to miss the story.
God, he really hates playing this song. He hates playing this song. If there's one song he hates, it is this song. He just had enough.
And Pete, I think you showed me this the last time we did Party with Pete, because you were talking about jelly rolls for like 15 minutes. And the last time I was on Party with Pete, you showed this, you told me this story and showed me this, and this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe this is not like out on YouTube for everyone.
I wanted to brag on him because he's really,
But I will catch up on the chat. Thank you for everyone who is still chatting. And again, you can keep requesting songs. We got him for a few more minutes. I know there's 2 or 3 I want him to do, but we still have time for a few others. So if there's something you want to hear, let me know. Throw it in the YouTube chat, and we'll make sure he plays it if we can. We're going to try and squeeze in as much as we can. I know he's a very busy man. Right now, he's probably just doing his stage makeup is what I'm guessing. By the way, can we talk about, thank God he was clipping for the questions and then the music is working fine. I was so nervous.
Yes.
I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I see you, Michael. I'll ask for some Ray Charles. Let's see what else we got. Thank you so much to Penguin Project. It's very kind words. I see you, Alyssa. What else we got? Oh, he was leaving. Oh, bye. Well, he's not going to hear it. But Penguin Project, I was saying thank you. Maybe if he listens back. Don't worry. I have something for you, Shorn Force. It's coming.
There he is.
He's back.
Is he back?
He's back.
Oh, he's back.
I heard the story about how he never wanted to go to Jelly Roll. Yeah.
He never wanted to go. And so we talked him into it, and we were so excited, and we're going nuts in the car about how great it is. And he's like, I don't really know. And I think you probably don't remember because it was like 1.5 years, 2 years ago. But I think I even like tapped you on the shoulder on stage and was like, have you played Muppets yet? And you said no. And I said, okay. And I wrote it down really quick and slid it up there. And we told Tom, just wait. And you playing this song solidified the fact that Tom now loves jelly rolls because he was blown away. Right? It's fantastic. Yes, that's absolutely true. Tom, he can attest to it. It's absolutely true.
Here we go.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to. I think they're wrong. Wait and see. We will get the connection. That's when I do this. Dreamers and la 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 la.
Yay! I love it so
Thanks,
much.
guys.
That's a classic. Do you have to play that every night? How often do you play that song?
It's probably 2 or 3 times a week. It's not every single night.
Oh,
so
thank God for you.
Yeah, so I'm not sick of it, and it's just perfect. Yeah, so it's probably 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah, I know the crowd loses it. Thank you to the chat for the super chats. Appreciate that. They love it. They love it. They love it.
Oh, good.
Speaking of that, I mean, they're supporting our show, but how do people support you if they want to support you? I mean, you said you do the live stuff on Facebook. Do you want to plug any of the stuff that you're doing during the quarantine?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to do that. So tonight I'm doing a TV theme song trivia show on my page, which is going to be a lot of fun. So I play the television theme song, and then you guys guess the name of the show, the year it came out, the year it ended, the network it was on, and how many seasons it was. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. That's at 9 o'clock tonight, and that's facebook.com/Piano Scotty.
Piano Scotty. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to write that down. I actually want to be part of this.
Yeah,
oh my
you
gosh,
might
you got to do it.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
And I'm encouraging people to start a watch party so they can play along with just their friends and not have it be just like a ton of people you don't know. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So that's tonight at 9, and then Monday and Friday at 9 I do a live stream for an hour at night. So just a fun way to decompress a little bit. Yeah.
I know whenever a new friend finds your
And
channel because
that's at facebook.com/pianoscotty.
yeah, so Piano Scotty is what you guys remember. We have Piano Rob and we have Piano Scotty. We're keeping it simple for you guys on Facebook. That's all you need to do. It's funny because like I was saying, I can tell whenever one of my friends finds your page on Facebook because they go, Pete, did you know one of your favorite guys from Jelly Rolls is doing a stream right now? I'm like, yeah, I know about it. Like, you got to go right now to Facebook. It's incredible. And I'm like, I know about it. Thank you so much. So yeah, guys,
it's been a lot of fun doing that. And,
so tonight,
and connecting with people all over the country too. So
yeah, you have a great audience, and it's a great show. It's a ton of fun, and it'll cheer you up. You can get, like you said, and it's family friendly, so you can grab your family. And you know, I like to put it on my TV, but if you're able to do that with your Facebook account, but even gathering around the computer or laptop is a ton of fun as well. I know I only have you for a few more minutes, so I know I want to, if we could close, because everyone's asking for Happily Ever After, and I'm pretty sure you know that, but maybe we could close with that. Are there a few songs I forgot? What are some of the classics? I mean, everyone's loving it, and there's so many requests, but I know you're supremely talented. You did, oh my God, what'd you do on Facebook the other day? Was it a Gloria and a Stefan song? And I was like, I didn't even know you could play that on the piano. Yeah, it's unreal. But anything you want to do, I mean, you could show off your talents, play the classics. I know, like I said, we only have it for a few minutes, but if we could do a few more songs and then close with Happily, I would die a happy man.
So you mentioned before about Disney songs, and so I love doing Disney medleys. So you know, people will say, "Oh, we love Epcot," so I'll do an entire medley about all the Disney rides at Epcot, or Magic Kingdom. I mean, tons of great Disney songs that come right from the parks. So, but you said Happily Ever After. So today, I want to do a medley of nighttime spectaculars. Is that all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Walt Disney World proudly presents our spectacular festival pageant of nighttime magic and imagination. In thousands of sparkling lights and electromagnetic musical sounds, the Main Street Electrical Parade. Magic night, $1 million heartbeats before us traveling side. first star I see tonight. I wish I might make the shy wish tonight. If I wish, I hope as dreamers do, and all my wishes will come true. Ready to begin, let the wonder take hold. Feel it draw you in, watch the moment unfold. Spark a dream that we're meant to follow. Sing out for new tomorrow. Every step we take brings a new hope, a new day. Every choice we make helps us find our own way. Every wish finally put into motion, diving in with our hearts wide open. And slowly comes alive when we look in a new adventure. There in your eyes, there in your eyes. It's just beginning, feel your heartbeat faster. Reach out and find your happily ever after. Find your happily ever after.
Woo! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Oh my gosh, Scotty, I want to thank you so much for spending some time with us. It's been a true joy, and everyone in the chat absolutely loving it. You've brought so much happiness to so many people all over the place. We have a few thousand people watching live, and so thank you so much for bringing
Thank you so
Joyce.
much. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And once again,
You've got a fan in Tokyo, so
yeah, I mean worldwide. Joining us from Tokyo down in the corner. But again, if you guys want to see more of this is just an appetizer and a taste. You can go watch a full hour live stream Mondays and Fridays, Facebook.com, Piano Scotty. And then tonight, play trivia. You might see me there. I'm going to try and sneak out of plans later so I can do some trivia. You might see me there in the chat as well tonight. Maybe we'll do a little watch party. But again, Scotty, thank you so much. I can't wait for Jelly Rolls to reopen. You will see me there on opening night, I'm sure.
An absolute pleasure to be here with you guys. Thank you so much. And sorry about the technical difficulties. I still had so much fun with you guys, so thank you so much.
Oh,
yeah, don't worry.
Thank you.
But you made the day a lot brighter.
Really.
Thank you so much, Scotty. I appreciate your time. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
That is Piano Scotty. Everyone's got a Kilween from Jelly Rolls. With that being said, I'm hoping that Jason is ready to queue up a commercial. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will do our reactions to Piano Scotty and finish our conversation about the best live entertainment around property at Walt Disney World. This is Party with Pete on WDWNT. Stick around. We will be right back.
Wigs. Become a wig. Okay.
Be sure to tune in every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for WDWNT's premiere show, WDW News Tonight. We've got news, games, discussions, and more, including some great unexpected moments like this.
What wildly popular snack was originally created at Disneyland's Casa de Fritos in the early 1960s?
It's gotta be the pickle. I'm going with the pickle.
The pickle, you're going with the pickle.
It's just a pickle.
You go.
That's a classic part.
The pickle.
Started it.
Donna has physically gotten up. Can you repeat the question, please?
The snack that was created at the Fritos house. It's in
You
it's in the
think
commercial.
the pickle was created at Disneyland? Like there were no pickles before Disneyland.
Sean's favorite. Everyone grew up eating pickles, you know.
Well, no, she's talking about the snack. Not the pickle that grows out of the ground, but like
before that, it was just a side dish with barbecue food. And then it became a snack.
Carly, do you agree or disagree with the pickle?
I definitely disagree.
Yes. Yes, girl.
It was Casa de la Fritos.
Pickle.
I'm glad they didn't ask me. I was gonna say the handwich.
You can catch all this and more on WDW News Tonight. Watch live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Wigs again. Become a wig. Oh, okay.
We are back. Put your pinky fingers to the roots. What y'all trying to do?
Pickle.
Reach out and find your happily ever after. Now, what you hear is not a test. I'm a rapping to the beat. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Party with Pete. If you can hear me, let me know in the chat. I'm just going to check in with you guys to make sure the show is staying somewhat normal. Oh, my goodness gracious. We are being joined by the one and only. He's still crying from Scotty. Eric Wolf, everyone, is in the house.
I'm still crying.
Thank you for joining. Did you get to see some of Scotty?
I did. I was able to finish up everything, and then I got to see some of Scotty. I got to see some of some air piano by Spencer. I'm telling you, it was great. It was a great time.
Yeah, so that
I was
fun
having
and
a good
exciting.
time.
Yeah, Scotty was awesome. And him and Rob, both of good friends of the show, and awesome. They're probably my favorite two performers at Jelly Rolls. I mean, nothing against the other guys, but those two are my actual favorites before they were on my show, and now they've cemented their place in the Pete Carney love bank. So big shout out. A big thank you.
I look forward to when I can go with you to Jelly Rolls, Pete, because clearly you're going to have like this whole thing picked out, like who's going to be playing and everything.
I'm excited no matter who's playing. They're all so talented, and they all have like different skill sets. We talk about Jelly Rolls all the time, and we should just call this show Party with Pete, sponsored by Jelly Rolls. But yeah, Jelly Rolls, have a good time. Speaking of Jelly Rolls, the guy I'm taking in September, my man Pat Mix75. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Super generous of you, and I sincerely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. That was very generous. I hope we got to most of the songs. I love that medley at the end. It's going to be so much fun going in September with you, Pat. I just saw that in the chat. And we need to we only have another 20 minutes left of the show, but maybe we could just blow through it. We'll kind of combine all the parks and resorts together, maybe just go through our own personal favorites. But when I talk about entertainment, and like we were doing before Scotty was on the show, I'm sure when I asked you guys out of the gate on our personal Slack channel for the company, you guys had some in mind. So I just kind of want to go around the horn, and maybe we could talk. You don't have to list your top 3 in order if you don't want to, but maybe just hit on some of your favorites, and we can go through a list later on. But let's just talk entertainment. Let's just go through. I'm going to start with Ted and work my way around up to Eric and then back to me. Yeah, why'd you want to be on the show today when I said, hey, we're talking live entertainment? What came to your mind?
I said, hey, that's the only thing I know about, so let's let's do it. No, I are you kidding? I mean, the crazy thing about live entertainment to me in the Disney parks, the shows are spectacular. The productions are spectacular. We've covered that in great length, but I think it's the little mini differences that sort of make a big impact. So we've all been to Country Bear Jamboree, where you have, sort of the host get up and is completely enthralled and gives their opening speech, and they're clapping in the background, and they're keeping the show alive. And I feel like that's a piece of live entertainment that they might not be, an equity performer, on stage. They might not even be a streetmosphere, but they're taking the live entertainment aspect of their job to the next level. And it's not that it's written that way, and I'm not sure if they're directed to do it that way, but to me it makes such a big impact when somebody is really into whatever role they're playing, whatever that might mean, whether it's a train conductor, or anything like that. Like, those little bits of live entertainment in the park make such a big difference to me. And that also goes for, face characters. For me, I'm a man in his 30s who completely has come to terms with when Mickey is coming down on that float, that may not be the real Mickey Mouse, but when may not be, could be, no, for the children watching, it is. It is.
That is Mickey Mouse.
I just ruined so many lives. But when Mickey turns to me and waves, I wave back, and I'm filled with such joy and excitement. And it might seem cliche, but it is that place that I can go and truly feel like a kid again and be in awe and wonder. And the more these live performers and these cast members put into their respective roles, the more that level of play intensifies our day and enhances it. So for me, Pete, to answer your question, why I want to be honest, I also think that the level of respect that these performers get it's not enough. I mean, when you look back at the history, just briefly, to Disney World, the artisans that were located in Central Florida were not at a stone's throw like they were in California. I mean, when they were building Disney World, if they needed a Lico light or somebody that could tap dance, I mean, they could trip over them out there, right? But in Florida, it was there you go. Oh, here he is. Come on, let's hear it. Oh, those are clean. Those are clean. Yeah, yes, it is. It is. All right, that Singing in the Rain revival is coming up. There you go. Wow, I'm impressed. All right, we're gonna talk off air about your talents, friend. But they don't. They have built up such a talent pool in that area and in Central Florida, and I just think that they've come such a long way, and that respect is really due. So. Yeah, I say more live entertainment in the parks, please. So I'm not going to mention a favorite because I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that game.
No, to go off your point without doing anything specifically, you're right, and it's such a crucial role entertainment plays, because not only are you like putting on a show, but like just the lives you're touching, and like I said, we already talked about the atmosphere they're creating. And I've told the story on the air, but I'm going to say it again. I was watching, I think it was Disney Insider, or one of the shows on Disney Plus that takes you kind of behind the curtain. But it was talking about how the lead performer now on Finding Nemo, who plays, is it Dory? I don't know.
Dory.
But yeah. But like, I just wanted to see what she did, and she was like, "Oh, I'm swinging through the air, and I'm puppeteering, and she's a brilliant performer." But she said the reason like she fell in love with Disney was when she went to Disney with either her mother, I think it was her mother, and her mother was having health problems and like was going through a hard time. Literally just a performer in a parade came up and I think just like put her hand on her shoulder of her mother's shoulder or interacted with her mother in a certain way, and her watching that brought her to tears. She never forgot it. And now here we are. We have this incredibly talented person performing at Disney's Animal Kingdom in probably one of the hardest roles, in the Walt Disney World performing arts community. And that little spark was because she watched this entertainer who will never know it touch the life of her mother. And it was just through a parade route. And one little motion and gesture as she's in the middle of performing in a parade changed the course of history and a life. And now we have this other performer in Finding Nemo. And how many of those experiences are out there? How many of these little tiny moments that these performers or joy they bring, or people going through a hard day or suffering with depression, or with kids at home, or all the trials and tribulations of life, and they take us away from that and bring us joy for just a split second, and it can change the entire day. It changes my entire day. If I'm having a bad day, the beauty of living here in Orlando, and one of the primary reasons I moved down here, was because I knew if I was having a bad day or if I was struggling with something, now I can get in the car and 10 minutes away, I can just go sit and watch Chip and Dale interacting with a family. I could watch a kid meeting a princess for the first time. I could watch a show and watch a kid's face. Watch a kid never close his eyes because he's just staring and he doesn't want to miss a split second. Those are the moments and the magic that I think we understand as a community, but that means so much to me. And that's through the entertainment community. That's why I love the human aspect. And that's why I said when we were doing live entertainment, I wanted it to be human, not an animatronic. It's the people that bring the magic to all of us, which means so much to me. Again, I'll rank some later on. I have some in mind that I want to give shout-outs to, but we'll keep going around the circle. I just wanted to jump in there. What do you got, Spencer? What comes to mind for you?
Well, let me think about Disney World for a second. Let's see. There's no my knowledge on Disney World is a little out of date. I was thinking of like the Main Street Electrical Parade, but that's not there anymore. You might have to come back to me. I have to think about what's at Disney World. It's been.
We'll come back. I know. It's
been a few years.
It's so hard to think about, the biggest park on the planet. Keep thinking about how great Tokyo is. We'll get back to you. Ashley, what comes to mind when we talk?
Gosh, like I said, I mean, I enjoy all streetmosphere. I think it has a place. Although, honestly, if I was going to think of one live show that I think it's starting to get to the point where it probably needs to be revamped a little bit. I feel like it's kind of getting to the point where it's taken for granted, is Fantasmic. But I still absolutely love that show. And I feel like a lot of like hardcore Disney fans, like we all like it, don't get me wrong, but a lot of us do take it for granted just because, unfortunately, for better or worse, it hasn't been revitalized in a long time. It hasn't had a major refurb or a scene change or something to make it fresh and new. But I do love it. I had a friend that was a stage manager for it for quite a few years. He used to get to ride in the steamboat every night at the end of the show to kind of, oversee that portion of it. And so there was a lot of work that went into it or goes into it. And so kind of like you said, the appreciation for Nemo, I have that kind of same appreciation for Fantasmic. But yeah, that would probably be my all-time number one.
That's a great point you bring up too, and I don't mean to cut you off, but also with live entertainment, we don't realize how much goes on behind the scenes. The tech guys, the stage managers, the directors, the producers, the makeup attendants, the costume attendant. So much goes into. We might just see this one, whether it's a show like Fantasmic or even Streetmosphere, but someone prepared that costume. Someone did that person's makeup. Someone did that person's hair. Someone came up with a script. Someone came up with an idea. Someone was their vocal coach. There's such a team behind each individual performer, and again, like in a performance that, without, what would we be without the grips and the lighting guys and the sound guys? It's a testament to everyone and everything that goes on behind the scenes. So, nothing against for anyone who's watching, but like big props to anyone behind the scenes with live entertainment too. We just see the finished product, but that is a testament to you and all the hard work you've put in behind the scenes. With that being said, great point though about the stage manager, because we don't even know. It's like I compare it, if you see a performer, to like an iceberg. Like you might see that one performer above the water, but all the work that went into that show and everything else, the iceberg beneath the water and how big it is really what made that one person excel or that one show. And that's what I always said when I used to do stage productions too, is that I wouldn't be even a fraction of anything if it wasn't for the tech guys, the lighting guys, the mic guys, the costuming, the makeup person, the director, the producer, the person who pulled me aside and said, you should just run laps while singing this song because you keep falling off at the end. All those people, they are the ones who make the person look good on stage. All right, Eric Wolf, You're here.
Yeah.
I want to hear that deep, soulful voice of yours. Talk to me about entertainment.
So like entertainment. One thing that a lot of people don't know, I bet, like watching, like, I'm behind Maria, I'm behind Russ, and I do all that, and I enjoy that. But my when I was younger, my big thing was puppetry. My big thing was circus performing, clowning specifically. And so I really, really, really enjoy Finding Nemo the musical for what the puppets are. Like, there's 2 different shows going on in that show. Like, you watch that, you can see the performers, and the performers do such a good job just emoting that emotion for each individual characters. But at the same time, if you look at the puppets, like, the performers blend in so well, and they just like disappear. So I just love that. I also love Festival of the Lion King Tumble Monkeys. Like, I love my circus performances, and the Tumble Monkeys just do it for me. It's so great. Yeah. But also on the boardwalk, there's this guy called, at least he was known as Coney Island Chris. I don't know if he's still called that, but Coney Island Chris, I followed him when he was at Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. He used to be a circus clown. Wow. So just watching Chris do all his like sideshow just things. I love it so much. Little side tangent. I auditioned for SeaWorld at one point, and the person that I was auditioning for, 2 of the people used to be Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey clowns. And it was so funny because the whole time I'm looking at them and I'm auditioning and I'm like, why do these people look so familiar to me? But at the same time, kind of different. Like, it was weird. And it hit me out of nowhere, and I geeked out so much because it's a big part of who I am. And I love physical comedy, and I love that. And Citizens of Hollywood is another thing for me. That's just a big thing. I love that one-on-one kind of thing as well. And sometimes like comedy and just performing can break barriers, like, language barriers, age barriers, and that's one thing that I really do enjoy about live performancing.
Totally agree. Anything improv to me will always blow my mind. From doing it, I have such a respect when I see someone who is so good at their craft, and the fact that you are covering this off the top of your head every single day in a Disney park. It's one thing to work off a script, and you're still very talented, but the people who are going out there and literally making stuff up for a living and entertaining thousands of people every single day is amazing. Also, I know Eric is also a Magic fan. I'm a Magic fan too. I love The Magician.
Yeah, Magic.
That is so cool.
Yep.
I also loved, when it comes to entertainment too, like the big productions, like the guys who did like Indiana Jones, like the Stunt Spectacular, like all those performers. You have to be on. You can't be off because you're literally doing dangerous stunts. And granted, they're Disney-fied and there's levels of protection, but you got to fall off a building the right way. You land, you can get the wind knocked out of you. Something bad can really happen. So you have to be on just as much as you have to be on if you're an improv actor or even the performers at Hoop-Dee-Doo. People are eating, they're slapping the pots, they're drinking, they're talking to other people at their table in the servers, and you're putting on a full show while people are like begging, who finished the ribs? So like, and that show is incredible too, and they're doing that 3 shows a night, 7 days a week. That doesn't go dark. It's remarkable, all the different entertainment, and it's down to, I consider like good boat captains entertainment, like when they get on and they're entertaining all the people coming out of the Magic Kingdom, or on their way there, getting them excited, whether it's with witty jokes or fun facts or just cheering people up. They are on, when you walk out from behind, Ashley, you know this from being backstage. You're walking on stage, and people take that. I love when people take that seriously, and they literally are just that spirit of Disney to all the people. They're on stage, whether they're a custodian. Again, speaking of that, like the whatchamacallit, why can't I think of them over at Epcot with the drums on the trash can? Yes, the Jameters. Once we start thinking like, and then server and Mousman, we could just talk Epcot performers too. Like we've talked Citizens of Hollywood, we've talked a lot about Animal Kingdom, but Epcot is, and hopefully they all come back. But let's just pretend that 6 months ago, you have Sergio, you have British Revolution, you have Mariachi Cobre, you have the guys over in France on the chairs, You have Matsuriza in Japan. You have the Voices of Liberty. You have the Jameters. You have, and this all of this is on a regular day, no festival. Like, think about how much live. You have Carol, who we had on the show last week, Carol Stein from the UK. You have the bands in Canada, the bands in Germany. You have the guys who perform in the beer garden in Germany every single day for the meal, with only taking 30-minute breaks. Live entertainment is Walt Disney World. And the reason I wanted to talk about this week is we don't know what's going to happen when the parks reopen, but I do feel like live entertainment plays such a role. And I don't think, and Spencer, we'll go back to if you have any examples, but if not, it's no big deal. It's just that you don't know what performers impact you in certain ways and on certain days, or if you only go to Disney once every 10 years. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who didn't have some form of live entertainment that was the highlight of their trip. Granted, people love the People Mover, but when you're on the airplane flying back home or you get asked, a few months later, how was your trip to Disney? You're not like, the People Mover is still awesome. You're talking about entertainment. That is that wow factor. That's what puts Disney over the top to me. Sorry, that was
I feel attacked because I will stand the People Mover. The People Mover is still awesome. Thank you very much, Pete.
It is, but to Pete's point, like, that's not what most people like. Even if they enjoy the
no.
Mover.
Yeah, I'm totally being facetious with him. I'm just.
But to go one.
Go
ahead.
I was gonna say, going to like Tokyo, like that guy, the janitor dude in Tokyo. Like, I love that, and I watched that on YouTube, and I'm like, I love that guy. Like, he just plays around with like guests. Like, it's such a fun thing, and it's like little bits of magic that happen that sometimes people don't even expect, which I think is a great thing too.
50s primetime is a great example. That's just that playing around, a waitress playing at a table for 3 seconds. That, I'm going to tell you, you can, dads across the world will go home and after seeing all these technical marvels. You look at American Adventure and like, oh my gosh, the amount of work that took and that stage, and there is no stage, which is the amazing part of it. But it's like, you walk away and you go, oh my God, the waitress made me finish my meatloaf and take my elbows off the table. That you're never going to replace that. As all the respect in the world to the amazing rides and the amazing animatronics. Oh my gosh, we all love them, right? But you take away that live element and you're taking away a whole host of memories.
Yeah.
Pete, were you there when we went to Christmas Primetime with Tom?
I don't think I was there. No, I was at my brother's wedding. I got there the next day. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because you were there that day because we went up to watch Avengers after that.
Oh, I literally flew in right before Avengers.
Maybe.
I landed like an hour before Avengers. That's why Tom was yelling at me because I had booked a theater for everyone, and apparently there was an issue at the front of the theater, and we just were at the wrong entrance. But yeah, I flew in right before the Avengers screening that we rented out the theater for.
In a similar vein to Ted's story, I remember being a kid. We went to Whispering Canyon, and just how much fun all the cast members and the guests there have or had. I don't know if it's still like that or if they've like toned it down or something.
Toned it down a little bit.
Oh, that's all those experiences. And also they could be nonverbal. Like if you're walking through Frontierland and all of a sudden the country bears come out and start doing a dance and grab you and pull you into a dancing circle with cast members and the country bears, and then all of a sudden you see like your dad or your uncle who never dances dancing in a circle. Like you're like, this is crazy. Like what is this Disney magic? Like those are the moments where you're like, wow. And they didn't even speak to you. They put on background music, grabbed you, and you dance with country bears and cast members who just emerged out of who knows where, fell from the sky, came out of Tom Sawyer River, the rivers of America. But that's entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I will say too, even at the resorts outside of the parks, I do love the greeters, like the one, Grand Floridian, Port Orleans, over at Disney Springs. I think the beauty of Disney Springs and why I'm such a fan of Disney Springs is that there's entertainment, well, not right now, but before all this, 7 nights a week in 4 or 5 different locations. You have the strolling piano, you have bands, you have acoustic sets. You're being constantly entertained by Disney, and I think that's why people love that live entertainment. There's a feel, there is an energy, there is a magic that happens seeing another human being, whether it obviously putting a smile on your face, but also for me, a big thing is I'm a people watcher, is watching other people's faces light up when they see this entertainment. And it's so beautiful, and it's a miracle, and that's why I thought it was important to talk about today. So we are just running over a little bit. We did start a little late, but before we wrap up this conversation, do we want to give final thoughts or shout-outs, or if you want to rank them, if we prepared your top 3 to live entertainment, final thoughts, shout-outs, you can list your favorites. Let's go around the horn the opposite way. I'll start with Eric, and I'll work our way down to Ted over to me.
All right. I'm just going to name. I've named them already, but Coney Island Chris at the Boardwalk, Finding Nemo the Musical, Festival of the Lion King, Citizens of Hollywood. Actually, I don't know what they're called, but the residents or the citizens of Main Street. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what they're called.
It is just is it just Citizens of Main Street?
Right? I'm like,
I love them too.
That's a good point. I don't know.
You talk about like the mayor and the firemen and the beautiful women. Yeah, it's so great.
I'm like, all of them, such a good job. And I love it, and I hope and I pray that when all this comes back that, we'll be able to see those guys again.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've already expounded enough, but I'll just cap it off to say that all of this, any person who has anything to do with live entertainment, or to the point, the custodial cast workers and things like that, even like anybody who's in front of guests, it's not an easy job. They're insanely talented and great at what they do. And I mean, I was on stage, but didn't have that many guest interactions. Like, it's difficult, and my hat's off to them. They do a fantastic job. I wish I was even a third as talented as any of them that are in live entertainment. But I inherited the clumsy gene, so peace on that. But yes, my hat's off to all of them. They do a great job, and I have tremendous respect for what they do.
Amen. Spencer?
For Disney World, I was thinking around a lot. Just because my last visit was during the era of more parades. This is still around, obviously, but I definitely have to point out the people who perform in Festival of Fantasy. The 3 o'clock parade is it's a real tradition, and I'm also trying to find something right now. The Festival of Fantasy, it's a tradition. You go and see the 3 o'clock parade, and you go and you'll have performers that'll like interact with you from the floats, or the walking dancers, and you'll have those moments sometimes where they'll just pick you out and like they'll specially focus on you for like 2 seconds, like Pete was talking about earlier. And it's just, it's something that makes your day, and it's something that you really think about, long after you go home. You're done with your vacation or whatever, and you're like, oh, what was memorable? Oh yeah, during the 3 o'clock parade, they picked me out and embarrassed me, just little moments like that. I also, I will also call out Finding Nemo the Musical. I adore Finding Nemo the Musical. I mean, who doesn't?
Lots of love today.
You really, you can't hate the show. I mean, I had to go back and watch it again, but I found this new appreciation for Finding Nemo the Musical that I didn't have until very recently, and I cannot find what I was looking for that I was going to show in this. I know exactly where it is. I know exactly what I'm looking for and where it is, but I can't pull it up because I can't find it. I'm not logged into that account anymore. It's on one of the WDWNT accounts, and I'm not logged in anymore. And then the last thing, I can't in good conscience endorse Fantasmic at Disney World. I had one more, though.
Boo.
Well, clearly,
I have a long rant onto why I can't endorse the Disney World Fantasmic, but I won't go into that.
We're staying positive, Spencer. This is a positive party with Pete.
I know. That's why I'm trying to think, because I was like, no, it's not Fantasmic. I don't remember what my third one is. So we'll stick with
me doing cartwheels down Main Street. Got it.
No, I remember what it is. Again, the last time I went, they were still doing the welcome show on the train station. I haven't seen whatever they do now. But whenever I went, they were still doing the train station Good Morning show, and that was always something that felt really special. Seeing all those people come up on the train and the characters and welcoming everyone into the park, I felt like that was a special moment. And I hope the new show is still kind of a special moment, welcoming you to the Magic Kingdom in the morning.
That song
but for me,
it's okay.
I always remember the Good Morning show.
Yeah, it's okay.
And then just tangentially, really quickly, explicitly to make Pete upset, I just want to talk about real quick how.
How do we mute him? Mute him. Oh, okay.
Bye, Pete.
Go ahead.
Just real quick, I just want to talk real quick. Here we have the kids' dance program called Jamboree Mickey, which I've talked about many times. And one of my favorite things they started doing before all this happened was they would roll out these tiny little carts with speakers in them, and they would get they would have cast members come and they'd all start doing the dance. And there was one time I was walking through Western Land, which is our frontier land, and there was this giant mass of people. There was easily about 100 or 150 people all going in a big circle doing the dance with each other. And they all do it in the actual Jamboree Mickey show, even though it's a kid's show. It's like this big crowd interaction thing, and I adore it so much. And I will participate in it every time I am there and I see it. It's the best thing ever, and it makes my afternoon. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about with Tokyo.
What are the kids saying? That song slaps?
That song does slap.
Song slaps, baby. Ted, final thoughts about entertainment here at Walt Disney World, or I guess anywhere in the world if you make your own rules like Spencer.
I was going to say, I can't remember a time before Spencer was talking about Tokyo. So I think that's, I'm going to.
Oh, God.
I'm going to fight me.
Love you. So I wrote a few down because I'm getting to that age where I'm drinking that much these days, but I didn't want to forget them.
Oh, God.
I really want to give, I will say, cultural representatives in the resorts, such as the Polynesian. I mean, take that experience to a whole nother level. I mean, just really encapsulates that whole feeling of a culture and just makes you feel like you are learning something new but already belong. And it just, I absolutely love that. I hope that's something that we never lose. I'm going to say something that I thought was interesting is the Jungle Cruise and then Trader Sam's and Skipper Canteen, how we have performers that all kind of encapsulate one style, but are completely different, have to make it their own. I mean, that's a trick in of it itself that is really kind of hard to crack into. I feel like that's just like, wow. I love that. And I love that it's starting to sort of bleed out beyond just the parks. I'm going to give kudos to the Stormtroopers in Galaxy's Edge, because I just learned that they are not audibly talking or through anything that was pre-recorded. And sorry if I just ruined anyone's life, but ultimately to stick to your character when you're not the one that gets to do that improv, I don't know that I would be like feeling that as hard, you know, like if it's not me being able to create the moment in the dialogue, I don't know that I could just sort of go along with what's pre-recorded. But I love that they put so much into it. I mean, those Stormtroopers are such a huge part of Hollywood Studios. Yes.
So how does it, I mean, I'm sorry, spoiler alert if you don't want to hear, but I'm curious. how, because I've never really given it much thought. How does it, like, do they have like the little trigger buttons like Mickey used to have? And then is there like somebody nearby that's like, does it work that way like Mickey used to? Or how do they determine what to say? It's not completely at random. It can't be. Like, it fits too well to who they're like looking. So I'm just curious, like.
Yeah, I imagine, I mean, does anybody know? I mean, I assume that it's sort of like there's I
was told two different things. One is that they can choose their own pre-recorded responses. Like, they have like a go-to, whatever it is, 3, 4, 5, 10. So like they know what they can do. The other thing I was told, and I don't know if this is again, I don't know which one is true, was that they have like someone watching, whether it's a producer or an attendant, who can see the interaction happening, and then they just go to what they are hearing as well. Like that person will pick. I think I'm almost positive the first one is more true, or they might do both, where they just know the pre-recorded responses, kind of like with when there used to be Sorcerer Mickey, or not Sorcerer Mickey, the Mickey at the Magic Kingdom that would speak.
Yeah, like they had somebody in the back that had like a thing of pre-recorded, and they would hit the button, and Mickey had like switches, gloves to control like the eyes and things, but yeah.
No, but I mean, and again, we were talking about like. Oh, go ahead, Ash.
I was just saying, I was just curious how it actually worked this time, because I hadn't given it much thought now. But to Ted's point, like, yeah, that would be tricky. That would be hard.
And I'm going to let Ted finish just to go off of that as well. Is all costume performers, like, especially now that I've been hanging out having drinks with people who are friends with a lot of costume performers, is the stuff that goes into that we don't even think about, like on the hot days or when they go above and beyond, like they're told to do certain things, but when you see those interactions and how they bring joy without verbal commands or speaking to that person, or they can't even see you smiling inside your mask, or on the days you're 1,000 degrees, or where it's super cold at night, or some of those costumes do not fit very comfortably as well, or you can only make certain movements. Like if in Baymax, you're standing on giant platform shoes. So you can't run or really like walk comfortably. But if you see a performer trying to make an effort, and they told me, it's so funny because we were just talking about this last night, is like you see the people doing it, you're like, props to that guy, but then you see when it goes bad too. But they're just trying to create these magical moments inside of a sauna where they show their true emotion on their face. And that is such a gift to be able to do that. So big shout out to them too, for sure. Yeah, sorry, Ted.
No, that actually tees me up perfectly for the last point I want to make. Is, you know, for me, I'm a nostalgia guy. You know, I go back to the parks, Epcot in the '80s, and I go back to watching the original films with my family growing up. And you know, I told a story on Give My Guards to Broadway where I grew up watching so much black and white TV that I didn't realize that those shows weren't currently on the air. I mean, that was like we were very much, you know, and nostalgia goes a long way for me, you know, and I go into one man's dream every time I am at Hollywood Studios because I want them to just click me as a number and know that's another person walking through. Don't you ever dare get rid of this, right? But but this is a little bit of a kudos, not to just live entertainers that sell it, but also the designers that bring it to you and the directorial and costume choices. There is almost nothing in all of Disney World that chokes me up as much as when Steamboat Willie comes out at the end of Fantasmic. When that black and white rendition of Mickey comes out, I have goosebumps. I am just, you know, to me, it's you know, because
it just happened.
They're bringing the past and the present and the future all together into one, and it's like the acknowledgement of that by just literally saying we're just going to use there's something so magical about that, and that is a very specific choice that a designer made. And so while we can go on and on about these live entertainments, and they are certainly due so much credit, the people that get them to that place too also deserve a big round of applause as far as I'm concerned. So.
Totally agree. I think you guys hit the nail on the head. I'm not going to add too much more to that. Is everyone knows my passion for live entertainment and my love for cast members and my love for Walt Disney World, and I think it plays such a giant role. And I The reason I brought this up this week is this is something that I've been missing tremendously. It's nice to see Disney Springs open, and granted, we might not have the entertainment back. There's no entertainment yet at Disney Springs, but we have cast members back, and people. And again, they're wearing a mask, but it's so strange. You can tell they're smiling, and you can tell they're excited to see you. And there is a beauty to that, and just all the talent Disney puts underneath their umbrella. I know there's been a lot of layoffs before this, and I know financially it's going to be tough coming out of this, even as individuals, but also as Disney as a company. And we could say they have all the money in the world, but they have a fiscal responsibility as a publicly traded company to make money, and they're going to have to make certain decisions. So yeah, I just if this can get out to just a few entertainers and thank them for everything they do, or someone behind the scenes, we cannot wait for you to get back, and it means the world to me. And I love all the entertainment at Disney, and I'm sure you guys too. And that's why I wanted to take some time out today to talk about it. Before everyone goes, I do want to just hit a couple little bit of housekeeping. One, a big congratulations not only to Alyssa, as we did earlier at Scotty, but all the graduating seniors, whether it's from high school or college or your graduate school. Just congratulations. Like I said earlier, really briefly, I know this stinks or sucks or whatever you want to say, but I think you're going to be so much stronger because of it. It's going to be a heck of a story to tell when you're older. You may not be thinking that way now, but now that I'm a few years removed from graduating from high school and college, man, to be the year of 2020, you're going to be able to tell some really cool stories, and you should definitely flip this into a positive. And I think this is only going to make you guys stronger, and I'm very excited about the future coming up. Also,
can I jump on that really quick?
Yeah, sure.
No, just wanted to congratulate also like teachers. My mom's a teacher. My friend Lindsay's a teacher. You guys had a hard time and a rough time these last couple. Yeah, there we go. Lauren, you guys had a really tough time this last couple weeks, couple months, but you guys finished strong. And, congratulations on that. And hopefully next year, you guys will be able to start on a good note, but congratulations on that, and thank you for pushing forward on just being able to have that heart to be able to continue to do what you do each and every day for these young people. So thank you.
Big shout out to the teachers. Yeah, I mean, I said I make the joke that parents finally figured out how hard teaching is every day, having the kids stuck at home all day, every day. Teachers make the world go round, and they are the most underpaid and underappreciated profession out there, I think. Where would we be? They literally are in charge of our entire future of the planet. They are shaping the environment we will live in one day. So big shout out to the teachers. And of course, and obviously, I haven't done this on every show, but anyone out there who has done something special throughout this entire quarantine, and obviously, I come from a family of a ton of nurses, doctors, delivery drivers, anyone who's just out there who has to leave their house every day and doesn't have the ability to stay home and stay safe with their family. And they're putting not only themselves, I have cousins and family members who literally have called me and they've been in tears and upset where they can't see their kids because they have to sleep in a bedroom upstairs, or they have to sleep at a hotel, or they have to they have to isolate themselves from their family because they're around so much of the coronavirus or the COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. It's so hard for them. So that's a huge sacrifice we haven't talked about. So a big thank you to that too. I just wanted to put all that together. And the reason I found out about Alyssa graduating was because she emailed me. And I got to give another big shout out to my man Rudy on his 40th birthday is coming up. He also shot me an email, said very nice words about the show, but he said he can't wait to come. He's hoping he'll be down in July to celebrate his 40th birthday. So shout out to Rudy. And if you have enjoyed the show or any of the live shows, you can email me, or if you have notes or something you want to hear or something you like or dislike. I see 3 people gave me the thumbs down. I love to know why. Is it because there's just too much of this and not enough of it? Let me know. It's at WDWNT.com. I'll take any kind of feedback, and I will make sure Tom gets it as well. I'm not going to hide the bad stuff. I forward all the stuff to Tom, but I just like to see it first before I send it so I know the mood he'll be in. Also, if you did like the show, if you could hit the button, I would really appreciate it. It helps the show. It helps WDWNT, and hopefully it'll pop up on someone else's YouTube feed because we have some likes. That's really cool. A big thank you to the people behind the scenes, Jason for being my stand-in producer this week, for Tyler for the animated graphic, for Kevin for all the weeks he was producing, and to all you guys. Thank you so much, Eric, Spencer, Ashley, Ted, Shannon was here, and obviously a big thank you to Scotty who was here earlier. You guys make the show and you make the time go by so quickly. I love all you guys. And that's it. This is another awesome week of Party with Pete. We have at least one more week, and so next week will be our last show for now. Who knows what's going to happen? So if you want to tune in next Thursday at 11 a.m., we're back with one more episode of Party with Pete. Thank you so much for watching. We love you. For everybody here at WDWNT, take care of yourselves. Wash your damn hands. We'll see you real soon. Peace.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
We see your elbow, Pete.
I'm texting Jason and I'm trying to clean up.
There's no music. Okay.
Thanks for watching.